Chapter 4:14. Yes. Yang Ming grinned and reached out to touch an acupuncture point on Song Hang's body. Suddenly, Song Hang's body began to hurt like needles. Song Hang was shocked, but it was too late. The severe pain made him roll on the ground. Oh my god. I'm dead. I'm being killed. Song Hang thought he was going to die, so he kept howling. After rolling for a while, Song Hang found that he wasn't dead yet, so he was even more scared. Now he felt like he was bitten by thousands of insects. It was more unbearable than death. It was better to die. When can I die? Song Hang grimaced and groaned. You won't die. Don't waste time. Yang Ming said faintly, I don't have the habit of killing people directly. I can't die. Song Hang was overjoyed. Grandpa, I really can't die? Do you want to die? Yang Ming glared at him. If you really want to die, I can help you. No, Grandpa, I don't want to die, but I'm too uncomfortable now. Please be merciful. I'm more uncomfortable than dying. Song Hang groaned with a twisted face. You don't want to die? I think what you're doing now is clearly looking for death. Yang Ming walked over and grabbed Song Hang's body. Only then did Song Hang let out an AO sound. He suddenly felt a lot more comfortable. Thank you. Song Hang only felt that the pain in his body disappeared all of a sudden. He was immediately surprised and happy. He was happy that he didn't have to suffer any more pain, but he was surprised that Yang Ming's casual move was enough to shock Song Hang. What is a martial arts master? What is a martial arts ant? Yang Ming is. Compared to the previous Hun Tianba and Fei Tianqi, they are nothing. Grandpa, did you just hit my acupuncture point? Song Hang asked carefully. Haven't you heard of a saying? The more you know, the faster you die. Yang Ming said coldly. Hee, Grandpa, am I not your grandson? Song Hang said shamelessly, is it okay if I know a little? It's best if you know less. Yang Ming glanced at him. Don't tell anyone about me. Otherwise, I promise you'll be in even more pain than before. I don't like to kill people, but I like to torture people. No? Grandpa, don't worry. I'm your grandson. How would I dare to betray you? Song Hang nodded hurriedly. What about the two of you? Yang Ming glanced at Hun Tianba and Fei Tianqi. Don't worry, young hero. Although I, Hun Tianba, live under someone else's roof, I am also a person who knows how to repay kindness. Moreover, since Boss Song has said so, we can't talk about it casually. Hun Tianba said very heroically. It was true that he was working for Wang Shifan, but the underworld people were particular about loyalty and commitment. Yang Ming had already shown mercy just now, so Hun Tianba also owed Yang Ming a favor. As long as Yang Ming didn't violate his principles, he would abide by it. Yang Ming nodded and glanced at Song Hang. He said faintly, tomorrow, I hope to see the contract signed smoothly, and not you betray me again. This is the second time you've challenged my patience. Remember, there is no third time. I know. Grandpa, don't worry. I know what to do. Song Hang nodded quickly. Now Yang Ming was a godlike existence in his mind. For Yang Ming's words, he didn't dare to have the slightest disobedience. And this mutton skewer tastes good. Bring me some when you come to sign the contract tomorrow. Yang Ming instructed. But isn't it the school's people who come to our company to sign the contract? Song Hang asked carefully. Don't you have legs? Can't you do it yourself? Yang Ming's gaze stayed on Song Hang's legs. If you don't want to go, it's fine, but you have to give me a reason why you can't go. For example, I will help you amputate your leg. No, Grandpa, I will go. Don't amputate. Song Hang was so scared that he hugged his legs and almost sat on the ground again. Your performance is okay. Yang Ming nodded. You can return this mutton skewer. You can return 10 yuan. Yes. Grandpa, take care. Song Hang said quickly. I haven't said that I want to go yet. Do you want to drive me away? Yang Ming lowered his head and looked at Song Hang. No, Grandpa, I didn't say that I want to drive you away. Really? Song Hang quickly shook his head and said. You have challenged my patience again and again. Don't you think that I should teach you a lesson? Yang Ming continued. Why don't you find trouble with me today and tomorrow? I don't have time to play with you all day long. No, Grandpa, I really can't. Song Hang thought that Yang Ming was going to leave some parts of his body. He was shocked. That's hard to say. I don't believe you. Yang Ming's gaze stayed on Song Hang's lower body. Song Hang subconsciously covered his crotch. Can't be, right? Yang Ming wants to eunuch me? Take off your pants. Yang Ming ordered. Don't, Grandpa, I don't have children yet. Our Song family still needs to carry on the family line. Song Hang said with a bitter face. What does carrying on the family line have to do with me? Yang Ming was stunned. Grandpa, don't you want to eunuch me? Asked Song Hang. Eunuch, what do you want to do? Yang Ming couldn't help but be amused. I want to take a few photos of you stripping in the office. If you continue to be cocky with us, I will release the photos to the media. Your position as a general manager will probably come to an end, right? No need. Song Hang really didn't want to find trouble with Yang Ming again. He didn't dare to. Yang Ming snorted. I think you want to change to something more pleasurable, right? I'll take it off. Song Hang jumped up and began to take off his pants. Find me a digital camera. Yang Ming said faintly. Okay, here is it. Song Hang quickly took out a digital camera from the drawer. What is this? A digital camera. Yang Ming glanced at Song Hang's drawer and asked. Yes, Grandpa, this is a digital camera, the latest model this year, high definition. Song Hang nodded and said. Then take a video. Yang Ming picked up the digital camera and pressed the start button. And, what is this? Yang Ming saw that there were still a few videos stored in the camera, so he clicked the play button. As a result, the video of the real-life office battle between Song Hang and the secretary Xiao Li began to play on the screen of the camera. It's a good shot. Yang Ming praised. You don't have to take a video. This is enough. I'll take the camera. Do you have any opinion? No. Song Hang didn't dare to say anything unless he wanted to die on the spot. Although he was very reluctant, there was no other way. If the video of the striptease in the office was released, Song Hang wasn't afraid. But if the video of the battle with the secretary was released, then Song Hang would really be finished. He could sit in his current position now because of the family background of his fat pig wife. If this video was seen by his wife, then Song Hang could only go back to be her stay-at-home man in the future. Yang Ming nodded and strode out of Song Hang's villa with the camera. It wasn't until Yang Ming was far away that Song Hang stood up in trepidation. Today Song Hang was really scared. He didn't dare to have any thoughts of revenge anymore. Because he understood a truth that was Yang Ming was very badass. He was so badass that he couldn't imagine it. Before he thought that the two martial arts gods Han Tianba and Fei Tianqi were already badass enough. But they couldn't even take one move from Yang Ming, and they were both knocked to the ground. When he recalled the feeling of pain just now, Song Hang still had a lingering fear. Yes, he would never take the initiative to provoke this person again. It was too scary. Moreover, his weakness was still in the hands of Yang Ming. He didn't dare to act rashly anymore. Song Hang glanced at Han Tianba and Fei Tianqi who were on the ground. How are the two of you? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, we just need to recuperate. Han Tianba shook his head. Forget it. Let's go to the hospital. Song Hang shook his head. Wait a minute. I will call a car for you. After all, they were injured because of him. Song Hang couldn't ignore it. Thank you, President Song. Han Tianba nodded. He was old and his recovery ability was not as good as before, so he could recover faster if he went to the hospital. Today's matter, don't tell President Wang about it. Song Hang instructed. He didn't want to be troubled by Yang Ming because of Han Tianba's big mouth. Chapter 4:15. Han Tianba and Fei Tianqi nodded. They didn't need to tell Wang Shifan about today's incident. This was also a shame for them. Moreover, this was Song Hang's personal vendetta. It had nothing to do with Wang Shifan. However, because Han Tianba and the others didn't tell Wang Shifan that Yang Ming was a ruthless person, Wang Shifan didn't have any defense against Yang Ming. He only thought that Yang Ming was a classmate of his son who had a conflict with him, which led to his complete annihilation in the future. A 10-yuan iron skewer was exchanged for an HD video camera. This was a good deal. Yang Ming hummed a tune as he returned to the university. He first went to the dormitory and copied the video data from the video camera to his computer. Then he used the same compression, division, and encryption method to upload it to several of his mailboxes. Then he deleted all the data from the video camera. Yang Ming originally wanted to buy a video camera. Now that someone had delivered it to him, he saved a lot of money. In the evening, Yang Ming went to Xiaoqing's place and told Xiaoqing that he caught Song Hang's weakness. Xiaoqing also smiled and scolded Yang Ming for being so bad. Every moment of the night was worth 1,000 gold. Yang Ming naturally cherished it. Over there, Vice Principal Ma and the principal of Songjiang Industry University were studying Song Hang's problem in the office. Principal Hang, don't you think this Song Hang is a bit too much? He actually made such a request. What does he think of our university? Vice Principal Ma said with some anger. Especially for people like him who came from a scholarly background, he was somewhat old-fashioned. He couldn't stand Song Hang's kind of villain. Why don't you look for the relevant departments in the city to put some pressure on them? AI pressure? Principal Hang shook his head with a bitter smile. Let's not talk about Huatong International being a foreign company. The kind of test equipment we want is the kind of foreign semi-confidential technical instrument. If they want to sell it to us, we can't do anything about it. They don't buy it at all. If pressure is useful, our current technical equipment won't be so backward. Which of these cutting-edge technology companies doesn't have their country behind them? Then what should we do? Vice Principal Ma didn't understand this either. Are we just going to be the leader? Forget it. I will go there personally tomorrow. Principal Hang sighed and said, this Song Hang is most likely coming for Shaoqing. The next day, just as Principal Hang and Vice Principal Ma were about to leave for Huatong International, Song Hang had already appeared at Songjiang Industry University. The funny thing was that he was actually holding a bunch of mutton skewers in his hand. On top of the mutton skewers, there was even a heating pot for heating. He was afraid that it would get cold in the cold weather. Grandma, can we sign the contract now? Song Hang nodded and appeared in Shaoqing's office, holding a lot of mutton skewers in his hand. I brought this for my grandfather. He said he likes to eat it. Well, leave it there. I'll pass it to him later. Shaoqing nodded coldly. She was angry in her heart. She couldn't help but say sarcastically, your attitude changed quite quickly. Were you disappointed that I didn't go to your house yesterday? How can that be? Grandma, my head was kicked by a donkey yesterday. Song Hang said quickly, didn't I just wake up? You just thought that I was mentally ill yesterday. Did you bring the contract? Although Shaoqing was still expressionless, she was already very happy in her heart. This Song Hang really has the potential to be a villain. He is faster than Akumalov in the chameleon text that I learned in school. I brought it. It's here. Song Hang quickly opened the briefcase. Today he didn't even bring his secretary. He had to do everything by himself. Well, I'll call Principal Ma. Shaoqing nodded. She was also afraid of long delays. If she signed the contract early, Song Hang wouldn't be able to go back on his word. Just as Shaoqing wanted to pick up the phone on the desk, the phone rang first. Hello, Computer Science Department of Engineering University. Shaoqing picked up the phone. Shaoqing, this is Principal Hang. Principal Ma and I are going to Huatong Trading to talk to President Song. You don't have to go. Principal Hang's voice came from the microphone. Wait, Principal Hang. Song Hang is already here. He's in my office. You can just come here directly. Bring the lawyer and prepare to sign the contract. Shaoqing said quickly. And what happened? You said that President Song is in your office? Sign the contract? Did you agree to his price? Principal Hang asked strangely. The price is the previous price. Right, Song Hang? Shaoqing said until here and turned to ask Song Hang. Yes, the previous price is a 10% discount on the original basis. That is 72% discount. Song Hang said quickly. He was afraid that Yang Ming would go to his house to find him again, so he didn't wait for Yang Ming to speak. He lowered the price by himself. In fact, no matter how much the price was reduced, Yang Ming wouldn't get any benefits. He only did this to help Shaoqing. He was afraid that Shaoqing would be in a difficult situation. However, since Song Hang was willing to take the initiative to lower the price, Yang Ming wouldn't have any opinion. This is the case. Song Hang took the initiative to lower the price and gave a 10% discount on the price. Shaoqing said, another 10% discount? Wait, I don't understand. Is it a discount on the new price or a discount on the old price? Principal Hang was a little confused. He didn't understand what Shaoqing meant. A discount on the original basis. Shaoqing said, you will know when you come over. Well, you wait for us. We will be there in a while. Principal Hang was still very puzzled. What the hell is going on? A 10% discount on the original price? How is this possible? Song Hang isn't stupid. How can he suffer such a big loss? But it's useless to think about it now. I can only see Song Hang in person. In a while, don't call me grandmother. Call me Director Xiao. Xiao Qing said, also Yang Ming is my godbrother. Don't go out and talk about it. Yes, I got it. Song Hang nodded quickly. He smiled bitterly in his heart. I go out and talk about it? Am I sick? He is a fiend. Why would I mention him? I don't want to die yet. It didn't take long for Principal Hang and Vice Principal Ma to come to Xiao Qing's office. Behind them were lawyers. President Song, why are you standing there? Vice Principal Ma was stunned when he saw Song Hang. Song Hang didn't even sit on the sofa. He had been standing in Xiao Qing's office, and Xiao Qing was sitting firmly in the boss chair. It's okay. I'll just stand. Principal Ma, this is... Song Hang asked the person next to Principal Ma. This is Principal Hang. Principal Ma introduced. Principal Hang, nice to meet you. Song Hang enthusiastically stepped forward and shook hands with Principal Hang, which made Principal Hang confused. Is this the sinister and arrogant villain that Principal Ma mentioned yesterday? Why is he so humble? Hello, President Song. What's going on? I heard that your company wants to increase the price of the equipment by 5 times? Asked Principal Hang. No, I'm going to give you a 10% discount on the original basis, said Song Hang quickly. Vice Principal Ma was also stunned. Then yesterday that contract doesn't count. Song Hang looked at Xiao Qing awkwardly. Principal Hang, Song Hang just said that his head was kicked by a donkey yesterday. Xiao Qing said faintly. What? Principal Hang was stunned. He was a senior in the school. Unlike Vice Principal Ma, he was clear about the grievances between Xiao Qing and Song Hang. But now, when he heard Xiao Qing suddenly ridiculing Song Hang in front of so many people, he couldn't help but feel a little strange. Xiao Qing wasn't such a person who couldn't see the big picture. Since Song Hang had changed the contract, why was she still pursuing so much? Unexpectedly, Song Hang immediately nodded. Steer. No, Director Xiao is right. My head was kicked by a donkey yesterday. Principal Hang and Vice Principal Ma looked at each other. They really didn't understand what happened to Song Hang today. Why did he suddenly change into a different person? President Song, are you okay? Principal Hang asked with some concern. Who would say that his head was kicked by a donkey? I'm fine. Look, I'm fine today. My brain is back to normal, so I quickly came over to sign the contract. Song Hang smiled and shrugged. Well, let's sign the contract now. Principal Hang nodded. Although it was strange, since Song Hang said that he had no problem, then he couldn't ask more. However, Principal Hang was still afraid that Song Hang would play some tricks, so he let several lawyers carefully read the contract several times. Principal Hang, Vice Principal Ma, there is a problem with this contract, whispered the lawyer. There's a problem? Sure enough. Principal Hang and Vice Principal Ma were shocked at the same time. There really is a problem? Principal Hang quickly asked, what's the problem? Chapter 416. This contract looks like an unfair treaty no matter how I look at it. The lawyer said strangely, from the warranty regulations to the liability for breach of contract, it's all in our favor. It looks like Huatong International has suffered a big loss. This doesn't look like a fair contract, but more like a list to curry favor with us. Curry favor? Principal Hang and Principal Ma looked a little weird, but since there was no disadvantage to them, they signed the contract with Song Hang smoothly. Song Hang saw that the contract was signed and finally breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't sleep well last night. He wanted to sign the contract as soon as possible so that Yang Ming wouldn't say that he didn't do things in time. If he went to find him again, then it would be over. Although Principal Hang and Vice Principal Ma were very surprised why Song Hang became so respectful and flattering, Xiao Qing didn't want to say more, so they didn't ask more. The contract was signed and their work was done. Yang Ming was very satisfied with Song Hang's attitude. In the past 2 days, Song Hang would drive to the main entrance of Songjiang Industry University on time at noon every day. He held a bag of mutton skewers in his hand and waited patiently for Yang Ming to appear. Even if Yang Ming was late, Song Hang would greet him with a smile without any unpleasant expression. Grandpa, I think his mutton chops are good, so I bought 2 for you today. This beef kidney is also good. I also bought 2. Try it. If it's delicious, I will buy more tomorrow. Song Hang handed the meat skewers in his hand to Yang Ming. And your performance is not bad. Yang Ming nodded and praised Song Hang. It's my duty. You are my grandpa and I am your grandson, Song Hang said flatteringly. In the past few days, Song Hang also found that Yang Ming was very easy to talk to when he wasn't angry, so he had a new idea. Those two great gods of the martial arts world are still not good enough. They are unreliable. Yang Ming is the real strong man, a ruthless person. If I have a good relationship with Yang Ming, then if I encounter any trouble in the future, I should have no problem finding Yang Ming to solve it. It's natural for a grandfather to help his grandson. Therefore Song Hang performed exceptionally well. You don't have to come tomorrow. Yang Ming glanced at Song Hang and said, Grandpa, do you hate me? Song Hang was shocked, thinking that he had done something wrong. You're thinking too much. I'm just satisfied with your performance these few days, so I'm giving you a few days off, Yang Ming said. After all, you're the general manager of a company. You can't always buy skewers for me. It's okay, Grandpa. It's normal for me to serve you. Song Hang grinned. It seems that my efforts are still effective. I'll call you when I want to eat. Yang Ming said, just send a secretary or something to bring it to me. How can that be? I'll do it myself. Song Hang didn't dare to neglect. Right now Yang Ming was a huge mountain in his heart, a mountain that he could never cross. In his eyes Yang Ming was a god. Why? Because Yang Ming's surface identity was an ordinary college student. But Song Hang knew that Yang Ming was definitely not just a college student. How could a college student be so powerful? Song Hang suddenly remembered a novel that he had read when he had nothing to do. It was called something like A Martial Arts Master on Campus. It was about a ruthless person who hid in the school. Yang Ming must be such a person. Ruthless people now like to go back to school. Isn't this how it's written in online novels? Therefore Song Hang felt that Yang Ming must be an extremely powerful person. Maybe he was a cultivator. Even if he wasn't, he must be an assassin. Not to mention Song Hang's ability to association was really strong. He actually vaguely knew the true identity of Yang Ming through the association. However, he didn't dare to ask Yang Ming. That was tantamount to courting death. If Yang Ming silenced him, then the loss outweighed the gain. Grandpa, do you have any other instructions? Song Hang asked respectfully. Not for the time being. Right, where did the two great masters around you come from? Yang Ming suddenly remembered a problem. That was, Song Hang definitely didn't have these two people around before. Otherwise, with Song Hang's character, he would have found these two people last time. He wouldn't have waited so long to deal with me. There could only be one reason. These two people appeared recently. Song Hang just hesitated and decided to tell the truth. He didn't have the courage to hide it from Yang Ming. I don't want to hide it from Grandpa. These two people just followed me. They were the helpers that Boss Wang sent to me. Boss Wang? What Boss Wang? Yang Ming frowned. Wang Shifan, the president of Wang's Century Xiongfeng. Song Hang replied truthfully, I just met him a few days ago. Wang Shifan. Yang Ming had a cold smile at the corner of his mouth. Why did he send these two people to you? Did he ask you to seek revenge on me? He asked me to find you? He knows you, Grandpa? Song Hang asked in amazement. I don't know him. Yang Ming said faintly. I mean, why did he send these two great masters to you? Actually, he's trying to rope me in. Song Hang didn't dare to hide. Although smuggling was a big deal compared with his own life, it was nothing. Song Hang felt that as long as he answered all the questions and said everything he knew, then Yang Ming would be happy. Wang Shifan wants to rope me in to do smuggling. Smuggling? Yang Ming looked at Song Hang strangely. Did I hear it wrong? Wang Shifan wants to do smuggling? What does his company have to do with trade? That's on the surface. Wang Shifan has been doing smuggling business before. It is said that he is also cooperating with my predecessor. Song Hang replied quickly. Yang Ming nodded and glanced at Song Hang. He asked faintly, I know. You won't tell Wang Shifan about me, right? Why would I tell him? You're my grandpa. Who is he? Song Hang shook his head quickly. Don't worry, Grandpa. I don't dare to reveal your true identity. What is my true identity? Yang Ming was stunned. How did he make it sound like he was an undercover agent? You're a ruthless person. Song Hang said, aren't you pretending to be a student at school? I understand. Yang Ming was speechless. It seemed that Song Hang had reversed his identity. His true identity was a student. However, Yang Ming was too lazy to explain. Let him think whatever he wanted. However, seeing that Song Hang was so respectful to himself, Yang Ming decided to remind Song Hang that Wang Shifan isn't a good person. You have to be careful. If he falls one day, I won't even let you go. Song Hang was stunned, but then he understood. It seems that Yang Ming has a grudge with Wang Shifan. Well, I'm lucky that I said this out loud. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how I died in the future. However, since Yang Ming and Wang Shifan had a grudge, it was easy to handle. Song Hang immediately began to express his sincerity. Grandpa, you can rest assured. If you want to mess with Wang Shifan, I will be your undercover agent. I will play the seamless network with him. Both of us will kill his grandma. Yang Ming was actually not afraid of falling out with Wang Shifan. Anyway, the two people would meet sooner or later. If Wang Shifan knew that he sent his elder brother to prison, he would definitely not let him go. Yang Ming didn't intend to let Wang Shifan go. So even if Song Hang told Wang Shifan, it was fine. But it seems that Song Hang won't say it. He seems to be afraid of me. Let's talk about this later. I have reminded you. You can do as you see fit. Yang Ming said faintly. Don't worry, Grandpa. I know what to do, said Song Hang. After bidding farewell to Song Hang, Yang Ming frowned. It turned out that Wang Shifan wasn't a serious businessman. This also gave Yang Ming enough reason to mess with him. The end of the year was the time when the crime rate was high. The rate of robbery and theft on the street was obviously much higher than usual. Chen Afu finally couldn't hold back and began to commit crimes on the street. Today, the place he was going to was the First People's Hospital of Songjiang City. He could only find the feeling by scaring people here. Chen Afu's perverted mentality had been tolerated to the extreme. He wanted to vent. Yes, he hadn't gone out to scare people for too long. It had been 4 or 5 months since the last time he scared Wang Jitao. Chen Afu took the newly made grimace mask and a big black cloak. He tiptoed and disappeared into the night. Early the next morning, a horrible legend began to circulate in the First People's Hospital of Songjiang City. Many people saw ghosts when they went to the toilet in the middle of the night. If it was in other places, it might not be so evil. But it was a hospital, a place with strong yin energy, so many people believed it. Chapter 417. But after all, it was a rumor. The doctors and nurses who worked there didn't see it with their own eyes, so they just laughed it off. They didn't take it seriously. However, a strange thing happened again. The next night, the haunted incident appeared again. This time, not only did many patients see it, but even the doctors on night duty saw it too. The hospital's dean took it seriously and quickly contacted the police. Everyone, what do you think of the haunted incident in Songjiang City's First People's Hospital? Qin Fei took the file on the table and asked the other people in the criminal investigation team. Obviously, someone is pretending to be a ghost. Xia Shui snorted. Yeah, someone is pretending to be a ghost. Qin Fei smiled. That's for sure. What I'm asking is, do you all have any good ideas? Wait for the rabbit to show up, said Xia Shui. This is a good idea, but according to the description on the file, the haunted places were different twice. One was in the 3rd inpatient area, and the other was in the high-rise building. Especially the second time, the impact was particularly bad. Many retired leaders in our city were hospitalized there. An old leader was so scared that he broke his leg. Qin Fei said, besides that, there were no other casualties. However, this is enough to attract our attention. If there was a heart attack patient present at that time, what we have to deal with today would be a murder case. The people in the room listened to Qin Fei's words and nodded secretly. Fortunately, it was relatively lucky that no one was scared to death. Otherwise, it would be a big problem. This is the overall floor plan of the hospital. Qin Fei took out a drawing. Before the old leader retired, he was a real power figure in the city. Now, he is also in the position of the National People's Congress, so he has already put pressure on us to solve the case as soon as possible. Everyone nodded and began to live together with Qin Fei's floor plan. The hospital has a total of 6 inpatient areas. Each inpatient area is from 3 to 16 floors. If we want to wait for the rabbit to show up, we need to mobilize a large number of police forces. Our criminal investigation team doesn't have enough people. I have to transfer people from the police stations to perform the task. Every inpatient area and every floor needs to be guarded. Qin Fei continued, besides waiting for the rabbit to show up, is there no other way? I don't think so. Everyone thought for a while and shook their heads. That's right, the location of the criminal's crime was uncertain, which made it more difficult to solve the case. What if they are just guarding the entrance on the first floor? Xia Shui suddenly asked. Then wouldn't it be fine as long as we pay attention to whether there are any suspicious people coming in and out? What if the person pretending to be a ghost is someone from the hospital? Or a patient? Qin Fei smiled bitterly. Before the case is solved, anyone is possible. Xia Shui, I know what you're thinking, but if you want to solve a big case you still need to train for a few more years. Xia Shui was stunned and then she blushed. It seemed that she was still too inexperienced. No wonder Qin Fei always refused to send her to perform important tasks. However, Xia Shui also secretly made up her mind that she must solve a big case for others to see. Xia Shui can do it too. Qin Afu held the newspaper in his hand. His heart was nervous and excited. I actually scared the leader of the National People's Congress to the point of breaking his leg. A perverse sense of accomplishment arose spontaneously. Qin Afu was very refreshed to an indescribable extent. Especially these few days, Qin Afu was happy from the bottom of his heart when he saw those people panicking in front of him and yelling. However, Qin Afu wasn't a fool. After seeing the haunted news in the newspaper, he knew that he couldn't pretend to be a ghost for a while. The police were likely to be waiting in the hospital for him to take the bait. Fortunately, the depression in his heart had been vented, and Qin Afu wasn't so depressed anymore. He regained his usual identity, the hotel foreman. The ghost mask was also kept by him. Today was the third day that the police were waiting in the hospital. Before there were other effective methods, they could only use this method of waiting. However, the hospital was still very quiet at night. For 3 days in a row there were no more haunted incidents. Qin Fei couldn't help it. There were many things before the new year and there were other cases to solve. He couldn't just be entangled in this haunted incident, right? He could only withdraw some of the manpower first and the others continued to wait in the hospital. New Year was here. Today was January 1st, New Year's Day. On this day Qin Mengyan woke up very early. Before the sky was bright she dressed herself up beautifully. Today was the day when the ugly daughter-in-law met her in-laws. For the first time she officially visited Yang Ming's house as his girlfriend. How could Qin Mengyan not be nervous? Mom, what do you think I look good in? Qin Mengyan stood in front of the wardrobe and was a little worried. Silly child, why are you so nervous? You're not that bad. Mother Qin smiled and said, besides, didn't Yang Ming's mother talk to you on the phone? Didn't she have a good impression of you? That's true. But meeting is different. Qin Mengyan said with some shyness, and this is the first formal meeting. And then Mom will give you some advice. This beige down jacket is good. Little Yan, you wear this. Mother Qin took out the down jacket from the wardrobe. This. Qin Mengyan was stunned. Isn't this my high school clothes? Isn't it a little too kawaii? It's okay? I think it's quite cute. Mother Qin smiled. Will I look like a child wearing it? Mom, should I dress up more maturely? Qin Mengyan asked. What's wrong with looking like a child? In Mom's eyes, you will always be a child who won't grow up. I think Yang Ming's parents also have the same view of Yang Ming. So, in their eyes, you and Yang Ming are also children. It's not good to dress up maturely. Mother Qin patted Qin Mengyan's forehead and said. So it's like this. Well, I'll wear this. Qin Mengyan nodded and took the jacket in her hand. Go. I've already made breakfast. Your dad is waiting for us in the dining room. Let's go. Mother Qin said. Qin Mengyan held the jacket and went to eat breakfast with her mother. Qin Mengyan woke up early today. Wasn't Yang Ming the same? It wasn't that he was nervous like Qin Mengyan who couldn't sleep, but he was woken up by his mother knocking on the door early in the morning. Yang Ming, get up quickly. Aren't you going to pick up my daughter-in-law? Why aren't you up yet? Mother Yang's voice shook Yang Ming's room. Okay, I got it. I'm up. Yang Ming accompanied wild female teacher to play landlord for half the night. This chick said that she was in a bad mood. She didn't go back to her parents' place on New Year's Day. She was bored alone and her lover couldn't be with her. Yang Ming was soft-hearted, so he played landlord with her for half the night. As a result, he slept in the second half of the night. Naturally, he was sleepy when he woke up. He calculated that he slept for less than 3 hours. Yang Ming opened the door with sleepy eyes. He saw that his mother had already dressed up. Even his father, who didn't care about his appearance, wore the Armani suit that Yang Ming bought for him. He sat on the sofa energetically. When he saw Yang Ming come out, he immediately reprimanded, "What day is it today? Why are you still lazing around in bed? Quickly tidy yourself up and pick up Qin Mengyan. Your mother and I will wait for you at home." "I got it." Yang Ming nodded and walked quickly to the bathroom. He washed his face and brushed his teeth. Then he put on his clothes and went out. He called a taxi and came to the entrance of Qin Mengyan's home. Yang Ming called Qin Mengyan. "Hello, Mengyan, I am at the entrance of your home." Yang Ming said, "My parents asked you to come up and sit for a while. Are you coming?" Qin Mengyan asked. "Tomorrow. Didn't we agree on it? Besides, I have already met your parents. I don't need to visit them in such a hurry, right?" Yang Ming said. "Well, then I will go down now." Qin Mengyan said, "You just have to wait for me for 10 minutes. Okay, no problem." Yang Ming hung up the phone. After waiting for about 5 minutes, he saw Qin Mengyan walking towards him quickly. "Huh." Yang Ming looked at Qin Mengyan's outfit and was amused. "Isn't this the down jacket you wore in your first year of high school?" "Yeah, you still remember?" Qin Mengyan was stunned. She didn't expect Yang Ming to remember. This down jacket was only worn in her first year of high school. Later, Qin Mengyan felt that it was too childish to wear, so she bought a white down jacket. In total, she had worn it for less than 10 days. Yang Ming actually remembered. Qin Mengyan couldn't help but feel sweet in her heart. Chapter 4:18. I remember the first time you wore this jacket. I remember it very clearly. Yang Ming smiled and said, "It happened to be a physical education class that day. Our class was skating on the ice rink. A senior student deliberately knocked you down." Qin Mengyan was reminded by Yang Ming, and she also had some impression. It seemed that it was indeed the case. The senior boy was a bad student in the school. When she was in her first year of high school, he pestered her for a while. That time he knocked her down because he wanted to take advantage of her. Fortunately, Yang Ming rushed over in time and helped her up, so that the boy's plot didn't succeed. However, at that time, Qin Mengyan didn't have any special feelings for Yang Ming. She just regarded him as her classmate, so her impression wasn't very deep. At this time, after listening to Yang Ming's reminder, she remembered. "That time you helped me up? What a coincidence." Qin Mengyan smiled and glanced at Yang Ming. "I didn't expect that we would end up together." "What coincidence? I have been paying attention to you. This beige down jacket of yours has always tugged at my heart." Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "I'm not afraid to tell you now. At that time I was paying attention to you almost every day." "Hey?" Qin Mengyan was shocked. She stopped and looked up at Yang Ming. She couldn't help but show a slight smile. "Really?" "Of course it's true." Yang Ming also stopped. "I have been secretly in love with you for 3 years. I didn't expect that I finally got together with the woman of my dream." "Hehe. What do you mean by got together? That sounds bad. Don't be serious." Qin Mengyan had some regrets. If I discovered Yang Ming's feelings for me earlier and got together with him earlier, would he still like others? It shouldn't be. Moreover, the feeling of being with him is really good. It's very relaxing and very happy. Qin Mengyan liked this feeling very much. She was a little envious of those puppy love couples that she hated so much. Things had changed with the passage of time. Qin Mengyan thought so now, but she definitely didn't think so at that time. This was a different state of mind at different times. At that time I saw Wang Jitao teaching you how to skate. I almost cut him into pieces with my ice skates. Yang Ming also recalled some scenes from back then. Did he teach me then? Qin Mengyan shook her head with a blank face. Apparently she had forgotten everything. Then why didn't you teach me? At that time I was the king of bad students. You good students couldn't wait to avoid me. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Qin Mengyan was silent for a moment. Bad students. In fact, now that I think about it, bad students and good students were forcibly divided into classes at that time. After going to university, I found that this concept has faded a lot. Maybe I was inferior at that time and gave up on myself. Yang Ming sighed. I was a little afraid to get close to you because of that incident. Are you talking about Suya? Qin Mengyan bit her lips and asked. Yang Ming didn't answer and nodded silently. Do you like me the most or Suya the most? Qin Mengyan knew that it was inappropriate to ask this, but she couldn't help but ask. He was such a person. Yang Ming also knew her character very well. Although sometimes she liked to be jealous, in the end she had to compromise. There's no comparison. It's two feelings. Yang Ming answered truthfully, Mengyan, your question is very boring. At least you are the first girlfriend that I officially brought home. Hee hee. Qin Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation. Her face immediately smiled. It was very sweet. The little jealousy of Suya was also forgotten. Yes, that Suya has become a past tense. I am now Yang Ming's girlfriend. Thinking of this, Qin Mengyan took the initiative to reach out and straddled Yang Ming's arm. Why? So intimate. Aren't you afraid that your family will see? Yang Ming laughed. In the past, every time he sent Qin Mengyan home, she didn't dare to be too intimate with him. Stop it. You clearly know that my parents know you. Qin Mengyan rebuked. Then let's go one step further. Let's have a passionate kiss. Yang Ming turned his head and looked at Qin Mengyan with a smile. Okay, I've put on my lipstick. I'm not afraid of getting it on your mouth. Just kiss me. Qin Mengyan didn't want to show weakness. Anyway, the last kiss was caught by her father. She didn't care about anything. Yang Ming didn't care. He didn't care about her lipstick. Bajid, he kissed Qin Mengyan's face. You're shameless. You kissed my face. Qin Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. No, I said passionate kiss. I didn't say that it had to be a kiss. Your thoughts are complicated. Yang Ming laughed. Go to hell. I'm ignoring you. Qin Mengyan said angrily. Hee hee. Yang Ming laughed twice. Right, the senior student who bumped into me didn't bother me anymore. The next day I saw that his head was full of bandages. Qin Mengyan suddenly thought of something. Did you do it? I beat him up. If Qin Mengyan didn't mention it, he almost forgot about it. Yang Ming had beaten many people. How could he remember all of them? And the method was a bit extreme, but the intention was still good. Then I will reward you. Qin Mengyan finished and also kissed Yang Ming's face. Qin Mengyan was tall. She was 1.7 meters, so kissing Yang Ming wasn't difficult. Ahem. Yang Ming was amused. Is this a reward? Yang Ming shook his head as he touched the sticky lipstick on his face. Qin Mengyan raised her small fist happily. Revenge successful. The two people stopped a taxi and ran to the commercial street. Today was the first time that Qin Mengyan went to Yang Ming's house as a guest. Naturally, she had to buy some gifts. This was a necessary courtesy. What do your parents like? Qin Mengyan looked at the dazzling array of goods in front of her and asked Yang Ming. The two of them were now in the largest department store in Songjiang City, Xinheng Department Store. Now the store was full of promotions and discounts. Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan were a little lost in the flow of people. My parents don't lack anything. You can buy anything as long as it's a token of your heart. Even if you buy a bag of fruit, they will be happy. Yang Ming said. Does your dad smoke? Qin Mengyan asked as she passed by the tobacco and alcohol counter. Don't. I can give your dad this. You're a girl. It's not very good to give tobacco and alcohol. Yang Ming shook his head. That's true. Qin Mengyan nodded. Then should I buy a cashmere sweater for each of your parents? This idea is not bad. Yang Ming recalled that the cashmere sweaters on his parents were bought during the mall's big sale 2 years ago. They hadn't bought new ones. The two people came to the counter of Erdo's. There was also a promotion here. You could enjoy a 20% discount by buying 2 items. Qin Mengyan and Yang Ming picked 2 cashmere sweaters that were more suitable for middle-aged people. Then they opened the bill and prepared to pay. Yang Ming naturally took out his bank card and prepared to swipe it, but he was stopped by Qin Mengyan. I will pay for it. Isn't it the same? Yang Ming was stunned. It's not the same. Other things are fine, but this is my token of appreciation for your parents. Of course I have to pay for it. Qin Mengyan said seriously. Well, it's up to you. Yang Ming didn't care. Qin Mengyan's family condition was good, so he didn't refuse. After paying the bill, Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan took a taxi back to Yang Ming's home. It was exactly 9 o'clock. The time was just right. Your home is here. Qin Mengyan came to Yang Ming's home for the first time. She was curious. It's very close to our high school. Yeah, I rode a bicycle to school at that time. Yang Ming nodded. Right, I was still wondering. Where is your car? Why didn't you ride it after that? Qin Mengyan asked casually. At that time I wanted you to ride a bicycle to take me to the field trip. That feeling should be very good, right? Bicycle? Don't mention it. It was smashed. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. Wasn't it smashed by the scum Jean gang? Right, this kid seems to have not compensated for my bicycle. I have to knock him down some other day. Smashed? What happened? Who did you provoke? Qin Mingyan's face was a bit bad. She didn't like Yang Ming to go out and fight. He would be worried. Who did I provoke? Do you know Jin Gang? Yang Ming said, he is our high school's physical education teacher. I heard of it. What does it have to do with him? Could it be, your bicycle was smashed by him? Qin Mingyan asked curiously. It was him. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. But I didn't provoke him. It was this guy who provoked me. Yang Ming told Qin Mingyan about Zhao Ying. Chapter 419. It turned out to be like this, but Sister Ying is really good to you. Qin Mingyan now also called Zhao Ying Sister Ying. Yeah, if it weren't for you and Sister Ying, I might not be able to get into university. Yang Ming naturally couldn't say that it was because of his special ability. For Qin Mingyan, although Yang Ming couldn't say that he didn't trust her, he didn't have the level of unreserved trust like Xiaoqing did. I thought you were taking the opportunity to chase me. Qin Mingyan smiled. In fact, this is the case. Yang Ming nodded seriously. When they came to Yang Ming's door, Qin Mingyan was timid again. Yang Ming, I'm a little nervous. It's okay. Weren't you talking and laughing just now? Besides, my mom has a good impression of you. She won't eat you. Yang Ming comforted her. But I'm scared too. Qin Mingyan took 2 steps back. It's okay. You're just running away. Yang Ming smiled. But Qin Mingyan hadn't finished speaking yet. She heard a click sound. The security door of Yang Ming's house was opened. And you're here. Why didn't you knock on the door? Mother Yang smiled and greeted her. Hello, Auntie. Qin Mingyan couldn't hide anymore, so she had to bite the bullet. This is the cashmere sweater I bought for you and Uncle. It was the first time that Qin Mingyan was a big girl. She didn't know what to do. She didn't have similar experience, so she didn't know what to say. She had to take out the gift as a shield. Hee. Mother Yang smiled and took the cashmere sweater. I'll accept it. Come in quickly. Qin Mingyan then shyly lowered her head and entered Yang Ming's house. Yang Dehai also stood up from the sofa. Welcome, Qin Mingyan. Sit anywhere. Thank you, Uncle. Qin Mingyan nodded but did not sit down. Old Yang, this is the cashmere sweater that Mingyan bought for us. Mother Yang put the gift that Qin Mingyan brought for them on the coffee table. Yeah, I'm missing a cashmere sweater. Yang Dehai took it with a smile. When Qin Mingyan saw that Yang Ming's parents were very happy about her arrival, she felt relieved. Big Ming, go and wash the fruits for Mingyan. Mother Yang saw Yang Ming standing on the side in a daze, so she quickly ordered. Yang Ming nodded. Auntie, you don't have to trouble yourself. Qin Mingyan said quickly. It's not troublesome. Let him go. Let's talk. Mother Qin enthusiastically pulled Qin Mingyan's hand. Yang Ming went to the kitchen to wash the fruits. Mother Yang and Qin Mingyan exchanged pleasantries. Mingyan, you and Big Ming are very close in high school, right? And Qin Mingyan nodded shyly. It's okay. Then you are considered childhood sweethearts. Mother Yang smiled. Do your parents know about your matter? They know. Qin Mingyan replied. What did they say? About your matter? Mother Yang asked. They think it's very good. Tomorrow Yang Ming and I will go to see my parents. Qin Mingyan said. Oh, you are going tomorrow? Mother Yang smiled and said, hee, that's great. Why don't Big Ming's father and I meet with your parents one day and settle your matter? Qin Mingyan was stunned. Isn't this too fast? It's settled already? Mom, what are you talking about? We are just freshmen. Yang Ming saw that Qin Mingyan was a little stunned and quickly came over to help. Although he was washing the fruits in the kitchen, his eyes had been looking at the movements in the house. He saw what his mother said. What's wrong with being freshmen? I just said that both parents should meet. There is no other meaning. Mother Yang said. Well, let's not talk about this first. Yang Dehai also saw the awkwardness of the 2 children, so he waved his hand. Let's go to the kitchen to cook and leave some privacy for the 2 children. Yes, it's already 10 o'clock. We have to prepare the meal. Mother Yang also stood up. Hey, let me help you. Qin Mingyan also quickly stood up. Because she felt that to be a qualified daughter-in-law, she had to at least know how to cook. Isn't this generally written in the novel? No need. You are dressed so beautifully. Don't get oil and fumes. Mother Yang waved her hand and smiled. You and Big Ming can play in the house. I'll go and help you guys. It's good to be an assistant. Qin Mengyan insisted. Well then you help me to wash the vegetables. I don't need you for the rest. Mother Yang saw that Qin Mengyan insisted on helping, so she nodded and agreed. However, she was very happy in her heart. Although she was very satisfied with this daughter-in-law now, she was beautiful and had good grades. However, wasn't it better if she could do housework? Yang Ming was bored alone, so he went back to his room and prepared to simply clean up the room. When he got up this morning, he was in a hurry and didn't fold the quilt. Yang Ming folded the quilt and opened the window to get some fresh air. He saw Qin Mengyan come in. Why, aren't you going to help? Yang Ming asked, baffled. I want to, but the kitchen is too small. It can only fit 2 people. It's a bit crowded with 3 people. Auntie asked me to come back. Qin Mengyan said helplessly. Yang Ming nodded. His house had an old-fashioned pattern. The kitchen was relatively small, unlike the big houses built with large kitchens nowadays. Yang Ming originally planned to buy a house for his parents after the Chinese New Year, but his parents didn't agree because Yang Dehai was working nearby. If he moved away, it would be inconvenient for him to go to work. There were no newly developed buildings nearby, so Yang Ming had to give up. Can I just look around? Qin Mengyan approached Yang Ming's room and asked. Because she watched TV or movies, there were always some shameful things in the boys' room such as porn videos, CDs and so on. Of course you can. Yang Ming said with a smile. You can look around. Anyway, his room didn't have anything dirty. Okay. Girls always like to look through their boyfriend's things trying to find something. Qin Mengyan was no exception. Hey, who is this? Qin Mengyan suddenly pointed to a photo frame in the bookshelf and asked. Oh. Yang Ming raised his head and glanced at the photo frame Qin Mengyan pointed to. It's Suya, Suya. So she is Suya. Qin Mengyan looked at the cute little girl in the photo and murmured. Qin Mengyan was conceded that she was very beautiful since she was young, but when she saw Suya's photo, she had to admit that this girl was comparable to her and even cuter than herself. She is very beautiful. Qin Mengyan sighed. Didn't you ask me who is more beautiful between you and her? You can compare yourself. Yang Ming smiled. How can I compare? This photo is obviously a little girl, right? There is no comparison. When I go back, I will find my junior high school photos and show them to you. Qin Mengyan said somewhat unwillingly. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. Then you have to put my photo in the bookshelf. No, it has to be on the bedside. Qin Mengyan knew that it wasn't realistic to ask Yang Ming to remove Suya's photo, so she could only fight for the same treatment as Suya, or even better than Suya. Okay, no problem. If you are willing to set it as my phone's background, it's fine. Yang Ming said with some amusement. Then it's a promise. Qin Mengyan said seriously. Yang Ming, can you tell me about Suya? Qin Mengyan picked up Suya's photo and hesitated. Won't you be jealous if I tell you? Yang Ming glanced at Qin Mengyan and joked. I'm not as petty as you say. I just want to know about you. Qin Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Yeah. In fact, strictly speaking, she and I can't be considered as boyfriend and girlfriend. We just have some feelings for each other, but we didn't say it out loud. Yang Ming told the story between himself and Suya. Qin Mengyan couldn't help but cry. Qin Mengyan couldn't believe that she actually cried for her love rival. However, the story was really moving. Yang Ming and Xiao in the story were really sympathetic. That Wu Qiren simply became Huang Shuren's big bully. That Wu Qiren is too bad. Why did he take away the letter that Xia gave you? Qin Mengyan said indignantly. Well, you know everything. Shouldn't you tell me about you? Asked Yang Ming. Me? What do I have to say? You are my first boyfriend. Qin Mengyan stared at Yang Ming. You know the answer. Hee hee. Yang Ming smiled. Yang Ming, you still have Xiao in your heart now, right? Qin Mengyan suddenly asked. Chapter 420. After listening to Qin Mengyan's words, Yang Ming's heart trembled. Qin Mengyan really found out something. Yang Ming was silent. He didn't know how to answer. Forget it. I know even if you don't say it. Qin Mengyan shook her head. It's fine. I'm not angry. Qin Mengyan thought that since Suya wouldn't come back, she might as well be generous. Otherwise, Yang Ming would say that she was jealous again. And Yang Ming was stunned. What do you mean? Did you accept Suya? Qin Mengyan sweated. He thought, when did I accept her? I only said that I wasn't angry, but I didn't say that I accepted her. However, when Qin Mengyan saw Yang Ming's excited and stunned look, Qin Mengyan's eyes turned. She weighed the pros and cons in her heart. I didn't give him a good face when I accepted him last time. Yang Ming obviously didn't like it. At this time, if she said that she didn't accept, Yang Ming would be unhappy, and it would ruin the mood of the two people. Moreover, Xia was a past tense. She had gone to another place and disappeared for many years. It was impossible for her to have any interaction with Yang Ming. So, even if she said that she accepted it, it was fine. Thinking of this, Qin Mengyan pretended to be generous and said, "Yes, I accept her." "Really?" Yang Ming frowned. "Is this Qin Mengyan in front of me? Why is she different from usual?" Qin Mengyan wasn't so generous. "Really?" Qin Mengyan nodded with certainty. "Are you happy?" "But only this time." He. When Yang Ming heard Qin Mengyan's words, how could he not understand what she meant? I guess Qin Mengyan thought that Suya wouldn't appear in my life again. But Yang Ming didn't intend to give up. Qin Mengyan, you also have a time when you are too smart for your own good. Don't regret it in the future. So Yang Ming said, "Then it's a promise?" "It's a promise." Qin Mengyan nodded. "Give me a hug as a reward." Yang Ming opened his arms. "What reward? You are obviously taking advantage of me." Although Qin Mengyan said so, she still ran into Yang's arms. She still obeyed. After lingering on the bed for a while, Yang Ming didn't dare to make any big moves. At most, the two of them kissed and hugged and touched each other through the clothes. Yang Ming's parents were outside and could come in at any time. In the blink of an eye, it was time to eat. Although there were only 4 people, the food prepared today was unusually sumptuous. "Come, Mengyan. Eat." Mother Yang kept giving Qin Mengyan food, making Qin Mengyan a little embarrassed. "Auntie, you eat too. Don't worry about me." Qin Mengyan felt that she should be the one giving food to Mother Yang. "This is a jade pendant passed down in my family. Today I will give it to you." Mother Yang untied a jade pendant from her neck and handed it to Qin Mengyan. "This was given to me by Big Ming's grandmother when I first went to her house." "This, such a valuable thing." Qin Mengyan was a little stunned. "What does this mean? Does it mean that my identity is recognized? What's so valuable about it?" "It's just an ordinary jade pendant. It's just a rule. If you have a daughter-in-law in the future, you have to continue passing it down." Mother Yang smiled. "Thank you, Auntie." Qin Mengyan's hands trembled. She was very excited as she took the jade pendant in her hand. Then she wore the jade pendant around her neck. At this moment, Qin Mengyan's heart was indescribably steady. "Lan Ling Xia and that Lin Jin can never be compared to me. I am the most authentic daughter-in-law of the Yang family." Qin Mengyan was very happy. She looked at Yang Ming proudly, but she found that Yang Ming was also smiling at her. She couldn't help but lower her head shyly. Today's atmosphere was very harmonious. In the afternoon, Qin Mengyan got up and left. Yang's father and Mother Yang didn't ask too much. After all, today was New Year's Day. Qin Mengyan had to go back early. After making an appointment to visit Qin Mengyan's house tomorrow, Yang Ming sent Qin Mengyan to a taxi and returned home. "Big Ming, Qin Mengyan is a good girl. You have to hold on tight." As soon as they entered the door, Mother Yang quickly said, "There must be a lot of boys chasing her, right? You can't lose her." "Mom, your son is also very popular with girls. Aren't you afraid that I will find someone else?" Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. First, Qin Mengyan wasn't a girl who changed her mind, and he seemed to have good luck with girls recently. "You dare." Mother Yang said, "I have already decided that Qin Mengyan is our Yang family's daughter-in-law. If you change someone else, we won't recognize it." "Okay, I know. You can rest assured, Mom. My relationship with Qin Mengyan is very strong." Yang Ming had to nod and say, "Well, you can't go to Qin Mengyan's house empty-handed tomorrow, right? She has already taken a gift." "What are you going to take?" asked Mother Qin. "Oh, it's the cigarettes that I got from my godfather last time. There are still some left. We'll take some." Yang Ming had already planned it. Qin Fei was a criminal police officer. He often thought about cases. Cigarettes would definitely not leave his hands. It was just right to give him this. "What about Qin Mengyan's mother?" asked Mother Yang. I have already prepared it. I got a platinum brooch from Uncle Zhang's jewelry company." Yang Ming smiled. "As long as you are ready." Mother Yang nodded. The next day, Yang Ming still got up early in the morning. Last night, Yang Ming didn't dare to play fight the landlord again. He went to bed early to rest. However, when Yang Ming was about to go out, he received a call from Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming, have you set off? Qin Mengyan asked in a hurry. No, but I will leave soon. Yang Ming said. Then don't come first. Qin Mengyan said, I'm sorry, Yang Ming. My dad received a call from the bureau. They said that there is a case and they need to hold an emergency meeting. Oh, it's okay. Yang Ming smiled and comforted. Uncle Chen's work is like that. It can't be helped. I will go another day. I'm really sorry. My dad asked me to apologize to you. Qin Mengyan said apologetically. Yang Ming, you won't be angry, right? What's there to be angry about? Yang Ming shook his head. Am I not able to distinguish right from wrong? Hee, that's good. Qin Mengyan said, then that's it. I will go to sleep. I knew that you were coming. Last night I was dragged by my mom to clean up until midnight. Then you go and rest. Yang Ming said with a smile. Say hello to your mother for me. As soon as he hung up the phone, Mother Yang immediately asked nervously, Big Ming, what's wrong? You're not allowed to go? No, Uncle Chen's temporary unit has a meeting. I will go another day. Yang Ming said indifferently. Big Ming, is it because Qin Mengyan's family doesn't like you? They have some opinions about you, but they are too embarrassed to say it directly, so they came up with such an excuse? This New Year's Day is a holiday. How can they go to a meeting? Mother Yang wondered. Mom, don't think too much. Uncle Qin is a policeman. It is normal for him to have something to do temporarily. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Don't complicate the problem. Besides, Uncle Qin has a good impression of me. We have known each other for a long time, so you are really thinking too much. And Qin Mengyan's father is a policeman? Mother Yang was stunned. Really? He didn't trick you? Is it because he doesn't like you and doesn't want to find you? When Mother Yang heard that Qin Mengyan's father was a policeman, her suspicion was mostly gone. She also knew that it was normal for a policeman to have something to do temporarily. Sometimes they had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the scene. Why are you fooling me, Mom? My case at that time was handled by Uncle Qin. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is it because you put that thing? Mother Yang heard Yang Ming's words and suddenly said, Qin Mengyan's father did it? Then how can he have a good impression of you? Mom, I was also framed. It wasn't intentional. Yang Ming shook his head and said, Don't worry. Don't think too much. I don't know what happened to that girl. You have harmed her for a lifetime. Mother Yang sighed. That girl is really a good person. If she didn't change her mind, you would still be in prison now. Mom, I know. I will compensate her. Yang Ming said very solemnly. As soon as his voice fell, Yang Ming's cell phone rang again. Yang Ming glanced at the caller ID. It was actually Qin Fei's number. Ho, Uncle Qin. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Yang Ming, I have something to do temporarily at the station. I'm really sorry. I asked Qin Mengyan to tell you. Did she call you? Qin Fei said in a hurry. Chapter 421. And she called. Already know. If you have something to do, just do it, Uncle Qin. Yang Ming said. That's good. Don't think too much. You know what Uncle Qin means. Qin Fei said. Uncle Qin has always been optimistic about you. I understand. Yang Ming smiled. It's good. Uncle Qin will treat you to a meal next time. Qin Fei said. Let's not talk about it. I'm at the bureau. Okay, goodbye, Uncle Qin. Yang Ming hung up the phone. Are you relieved now? Yang Ming shrugged and smiled at his mother, who had been eavesdropping. He tiled. Mother Yang blushed and walked away, minding her own business. Since you really have something to say, then forget it. You should pack up. Your dad and I are going to attend your uncle's banquet today. Uncle? Yang Ming was stunned. He took the initiative to treat us relatives? In Yang Ming's impression, his uncle was the kind of person who kept his relatives at a respectful distance. Did the last incident change his attitude? And your uncle is treating. Your dad and I received a call last night. Because you went to Qin Mengyan's house today, we didn't tell you. Now that you're fine, come with us. Mother Yang said. Well, I haven't given the gift I bought for Yang Li yet. Yang Ming nodded and said. The last time he came back from Hong Kong, he hadn't seen Yang Li yet. Then you should go and prepare. Your dad and I will also prepare. Mother Yang said. Yang Ming responded. The three people took a taxi to the villa area where his uncle's family lived. Today his uncle was treating at home. This was the first time. He used to be in a restaurant. His uncle was most annoyed when relatives came to visit. Perhaps it was because Yang Ming's family helped a lot when they were kidnapped last time. So this time Yang Dashan didn't give Yang Ming's family any face. Instead he greeted them very warmly. "Dahai, you are here? Come in and sit down. Your sister-in-law is preparing the meal so she can't come out to greet you." Yang Dashan opened the door and said, "Uncle." Yang Ming called out. Although he had some prejudice against him for the sake of his parents, Yang Ming still had to respect him. Moreover, her uncle's behavior today wasn't that annoying. "Yang Ming, your sister is upstairs. You go and find her. Xiaobo and the others will come in a while," said Yang Dashan. "Okay, I just happened to bring her a gift. I'll go up first." Yang Ming nodded. Why are you still bringing gifts? We are a family." Yang Dashan's character had indeed changed a lot. But it was all because of the kidnapping incident. After experiencing a life-and-death situation, Yang Dashan was a little more open-minded. He wasn't so averse to having relatives anymore. Even if Yang Ming's family wanted to lend him some money, he wouldn't object. But what he didn't know was that Yang Ming was now much wealthier than him. Yang Ming went upstairs and came to the door of Yang Li's room. He knocked on the door and heard Yang Li's voice. "Who is it?" "The door isn't locked." Yang Ming opened the door and went in. "It's me, Yang Ming. You're here too?" Yang Dashan's attitude was better, but it didn't mean that Yang Li's attitude was better. "I'm here. This is a gift I brought for you from Hong Kong. It's up to you whether you want it or not." Yang Ming was angry when he heard Yang Li's sarcastic tone. "I owe you. Why are you giving me such a bad face when you see me? If we weren't relatives, I would have slapped you twice." You brought it for me?" Yang Li snorted. "Is it some kind of local specialty? It's up to you whether you want it or not." Yang Ming was a little annoyed. "If you don't want it, you can throw it through the window." "What is it? Let me see." Yang Li said that she didn't want it, but her hands weren't idle. She opened the bag that Yang Ming gave her. "LV handbag?" Yang Li was stunned. "Is this real or fake? Can you afford this?" Yang Ming was really angry. He really wanted to kick her. "If you don't want it, just throw it away." This handbag was bought by Yang Ming when he bought Lin Jiun's school bag. He gave it to Yang Li. He didn't expect this woman to be so picky. Yang Li snorted. He thought this fake bag is quite real. "I will look for Sun Jia one day. She is more knowledgeable. She should be able to tell the authenticity." So she said, "I will take it first. If it's fake, I will throw it away." "Up to you." Yang Ming was too lazy to be angry with her. This kind of person being angry with her would only make you die. Not long after, Yang Xiaobo also came. He pushed open Yang Li's door. "Big brother, big sister, you're all here? And Xiaobo, you're here?" Yang Ming nodded and smiled. "Are you used to high school?" "It's pretty good. Big brother, the pair of sneakers that you gave me, my classmates were envious. Especially the fat guy in our class, his father is a tycoon. He went back and asked his father to buy it, but he couldn't buy it. When I went to the store to ask, it was a Hong Kong edition. It wasn't sold here." Yang Xiaobo said proudly. "Xiaobo, Yang Ming also gave you something?" Yang Li looked at Yang Xiaobo and asked. "Yeah, big sister, you have one too, right? Big brother went to Hong Kong a while ago." Yang Xiaobo said. "Could this be a genuine one?" Yang Li picked up the LV bag and looked at it. Yang Ming was too lazy to talk to her, so he went downstairs with Yang Xiaobo. "Right, Zhang Song from class 8 didn't trouble you again, right?" Yang Ming asked. "No, Zhang Song is now my underling." Yang Xiaobo said with some excitement. "Now people in the school know that I'm your brother. No one dares to trouble me." "Sweat, is this very prestigious?" Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "What kind of reputation do I have? Why does it feel like I'm infamous?" "I think it's very prestigious." Yang Xiaobo nodded. In the blink of an eye, it was time to eat. Yang Dashan sat in the main seat and greeted everyone. "Next, I will announce a good news. My sand market has been sold. I won't be doing it anymore." Everyone was stunned. What kind of good news is this? Even Yang Ming was a little inexplicable. He didn't know what his uncle was going to say. "I set up a real estate development company. It will be officially listed after the new year." Yang Dashan said with some pride. "Our Yang family has risen in Songjiang City. It's also a big family. Let's get together more in the future." Everyone understood. It turned out that Yang Dashan's business was big. Real estate development, that was a big deal. Yang Dashan was indeed a little complacent. His partner, Bao Sanli, suddenly integrated all the forces in Song Jiang's underworld. Yang Dashan's identity naturally rose. If you want to do real estate, you must have a deep background. Obviously, Yang Dashan now had this capital. In Song Jiang, who dared to say that they were more powerful than Bao Sanli. Of course, Yang Ming was an exception. Everyone raised their glasses to congratulate, and Yang Ming also understood the meaning of his uncle's treat. He wanted to show off his strength. Now, the most powerful person in the Yang family was his uncle Yang Dashan. He had the ability, so he naturally wanted to show off among his relatives. Of course, this was only on the surface. If Yang Ming's company opened, maybe he wouldn't talk like this. However, Yang Ming didn't take it seriously. The original mean uncle could become like this now. Yang Ming felt that it was already good. What can you expect from such a person? At the dinner table, Yang Dashan kept bragging about how capable and powerful he was now. However, he said a few times that if anyone had difficulties, they could go to him. This made Yang Ming feel more comfortable in his heart. For the changes in his uncle Yang Ming's parents and Yang Xiaobo's family also saw it in their eyes. They were also happy from the bottom of their hearts. In the afternoon, Yang Dashan was going to drive his family to karaoke. Yang Ming saw that his parents were more interested, so it wasn't good to go back first. Yang Dashan called the company's big Jinbei van and took everyone to the Nightless Club's KTV. Yang Ming knew the relationship between his uncle and Bao Sanli, so it wasn't strange. This was Bao Sanli's base camp. Yang Dashan was probably a regular here. Sure enough, even the greeter at the door knew Yang Dashan. "President Yang, you are here." When the greeter at the door saw Yang Dashan, she immediately greeted him with a smile. "And I brought my family to play. Find me a bigger private room." Yang Dashan said, "Is Brother Bao here?" President Bao and President Ho went to discuss tomorrow's banquet. "They aren't here," the greeter said. Yang Dashan nodded. Yang Dashan knew that Bao Sanli would invite the boss of Song Jiang tomorrow. He also received the invitation. "President Yang, please wait a moment. I will contact the private room for you," the greeter said. "Okay, you go ahead." Yang Dashan nodded and then said to Yang Dahai, "I am very familiar with the boss here. Everyone can relax and play." Chapter 422. It was obviously Yang Xiaobo's first time coming to this kind of place. Just like when Yang Ming came for the first time, he was very novel to this kind of luxurious place. "Big brother, the cost here shouldn't be low, right?" Yang Xiaobo whispered to Yang Ming. "It's okay. Big brother will get you a few vouchers. You can bring Xinhua here to play." Yang Ming said, "It probably costs a few thousand yuan to play here for a night, right? So expensive?" Yang Xiaobo couldn't help but be stunned. When Yang Ming teased Gu Jianchao that day, Yang Li had already left, so Yang Li didn't know that Yang Ming and Bao Sanli were familiar with each other. However, Yang Ming didn't mean to show off. Since his uncle liked to show off in front of his family, Yang Ming would satisfy his vanity. His parents didn't say anything, so he wouldn't say anything. Yang Li calmly picked up the menu and ordered a few dried fruit platters and fruit salads. Then she handed the menu to Yang Dashan. "You can order whatever you want." Yang Dashan handed the menu to Yang Xiaobo. Originally, there wasn't much food in the KTV. Yang Li basically ordered everything. Yang Xiaobo didn't know what to order with the menu, so he couldn't help but feel awkward. Yang Ming saw through Yang Xiaobo's thoughts. He took the menu, ordered a few bottles of beer, and then returned the menu to the waiter. In fact, Yang Li was singing most of the time. Yang Ming wasn't interested in this. Yang Ming's parents were also here for the first time, so they couldn't play freely. Yang Xiaobo, on the other hand, was more interested because he was younger and didn't play much. He was eager to try. "I'm going to the bathroom." Yang Li, the microphone hog, finally put down the microphone so Yang Xiaobo could order a few songs. However, after waiting for a long time, Yang Li didn't come back. Yang Ming's aunt was a little anxious. "Dashan, why hasn't Lily come back yet? She can't take so long to go to the bathroom, right?" "Yeah, it's been almost 20 minutes. Do you want to go and see?" Yang Dashan looked at the wall clock in the private room and said. The auntie said and was about to leave. "Big Ming, you and Xiaobo go and find your elder sister." How could Yang Dahai let his sister-in-law go, so he instructed Yang Ming. Although Yang Ming wasn't very interested in the task of finding Yang Li, his father had instructed him. Yang Ming didn't say anything. Yang Ming and Yang Xiaobo walked out of the private room and walked toward the bathroom. Big brother, you seem to come to this kind of place often? Yang Xiaobo saw Yang Ming's familiar look and couldn't help but ask. Yes, I've been here a few times. Yang Ming nodded. As they were talking, the two people came near the bathroom and heard Yang Li's voice. Do you know who I am? Yang Li asked loudly. I don't care who you are, smelly bitch, you stepped on my leather shoes. You have to pay for it. A man's voice said. What kind of lousy leather shoes are these? You want me to pay 5,000? I think you are crazy about money, right? Yang Li said sarcastically. Motherfucker, this is sharkskin. Asking you to pay 5,000 is already a small amount. The man said, hurry up. Be cool. I still have to fuck the chick. You put the money here and nothing will happen. Otherwise, hee. What? You dare to threaten me? In this nightless club, there are still people who dare to trouble my Yang family? I think you are itching for a beating, right? Yang Li didn't put the man in front of her in her eyes. Aya? Pretty badass chick? Yang family? Why haven't I heard of the Yang family in Songjiang? I guess your family is stupid, right? The man said mockingly. Originally, Yang Ming was watching the fun and didn't intend to help. Anyway, he knew the relationship between his uncle and Bao Sanli. It was impossible to mess up in the nightless club. However, now this man actually said that the Yang family was a bunch of idiots. Yang Ming couldn't bear it anymore. He strode over and slapped the man's face. What did you just say? What? The man was stunned and covered his face. He was stunned by Yang Ming's slap. What the hell is going on? I was blackmailing this chick. Why did a burly young man suddenly come over and slap me? I asked you, what did you just say? Yang Ming stared at him and asked coldly. I didn't say anything. The man was a little scared. Seeing that Yang Ming was taller than him, he couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Didn't you say that the Yang family is stupid? Yang Ming didn't want to stand up for Yang Li. Although this man was suspected of blackmail, Yang Li must have pretended to be stupid first. So Yang Ming just caught the man scolding. The man was a little inexplicable. Then I didn't say anything about you. Sorry, my surname is Yang. My father's surname is Yang. Our family's surname is Yang. Yang Ming said coldly. The man was a little overwhelmed. Can't be so coincidental, right? Am I so unlucky? I just scolded and there is someone with the surname Yang on the side? And it's such a person who isn't easy to mess with? Sorry, I didn't scold you. I was scolding her. The man also knew his own weight. Yang Ming, who was this big, hit him like a toy. Really? You didn't scold me? Yang Ming snorted. Do you mean that my ears are broken? No. The man was just about to continue apologizing, but when he turned his eyes, he saw the people who came with him walking over. The man was not afraid at all. There were only 3 people on his side. Why would he be afraid of him? Wang Long here. This kid is looking for trouble with me. The man shouted. Oh, you even called for help? Yang Ming was amused by the man's actions. What are you doing? Who are you? The man named Wang Long came over with a cigarette in his mouth. As soon as he came up, he pushed Yang Ming with his hand. Who are you? Does it have anything to do with you? Yang Ming didn't care about him at all. He pushed Wang Long with his hand and he staggered. Damn, you dare to push President Wang? Before Wang Long could say anything, the man beside Wang Long suddenly jumped out. He bared his teeth and rushed up with a fist to beat Yang Ming. Go to your mother. Yang Ming couldn't let this servant hit him. He reached out and grabbed the guy's collar and threw him out. Clang. He fell in the corner and couldn't say anything. Well, it's time for us to talk. You just scolded me and found 2 idiots to beat me up. How do you want to settle this? Yang Ming solved the servant and turned back to stare at the man. When the man saw Yang Ming was so fierce, he was a little dumbfounded. Oh my god, this guy is so ruthless. I should have said a few soft words and let it go. What's going on? Who is making trouble in the nightless club? Yang Ming wanted to continue to study how to scare this man. He heard another wave of people behind him, but these people were obviously from the nightless club. They should be Bao Sanli's men. Isn't this President Li? What's going on? The leader of the nightless club obviously knew this man and came forward to greet him. Brother Ji, you are here. Just in time, they are beating people up. These 2 men and this woman. President Li was just dispirited. When he saw the people from the nightless club arrive, he trembled again. Especially this leader, Brother Ji, who was very familiar with him. Catch them. Of course, Brother G had to give face to President Lee. President Lee was a regular here, so of course he should be biased toward him. Who dares to catch my daughter? Another voice sounded. Yang Ming was a little amused. This voice was obviously his uncle's. It really had the feeling of a hero appearing at the last moment. Brother Yang? Brother G looked back and saw Yang Dashan. He couldn't help but be stunned. His address for Yang Dashan was obviously different from President Lee just now. Just now he just politely called President Lee as a certain president, but Yang Dashan was called Brother Yang. Yang Dashan was Bao Sanli's buddy. His identity and status were naturally different. Therefore, compared to President Lee, Brother G was even more afraid to provoke Yang Dashan. He only had due respect for President Lee, but for Yang Dashan, it was awe. Otherwise, if he said a few bad words about him to Bao Sanli, then Brother G would be miserable. Brother Yang? Do you think I'm your Brother Yang? Your Brother Yang's daughter and nephew are going to be caught by you. Yang Dashan sneered very pretentiously. That look was exactly the same as the underworld boss in the movie. What? Are they Brother Yang's daughter and nephew? Brother G was stunned. He knew that this was bad. He almost got himself into big trouble. But fortunately I haven't done anything yet. It's not too late to change sides now. Li Mingri, do you know who this is? This is Brother Yang, Brother Bao's good buddy. Quickly apologized to Brother Yang. For President Lee, Brother G didn't want to offend him too much. After all, he was a guest who gave him money to spend. Chapter 423. Brother G. President Lee was a little dumbfounded. Which Brother Yang? There were two Brother Yangs here. One was grabbing his collar, and the other was standing not far away from him. Brother G had a face of respect for him. Anyway, when Li Mingri heard that Brother Yang and Brother Bao knew each other, he was immediately stunned. I can't afford to offend this person. He also knew that Brother G was already giving him face. Otherwise, Brother G would have directly thrown him out. However, what about these two Brother Yang? How should I deal with them? Li Mingri gritted his teeth and said to Yang Ming first, "That? Little Brother Yang, can you let me go first? I was wrong. I shouldn't have scolded you." When Yang Ming saw that his uncle was here, he couldn't continue to use violence. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if his parents saw it. Yang Ming also let go of his hand and said, "Don't simply call others stupid in the future, because you are an idiot yourself." Yes, Although Li Mingri didn't admit that he was an idiot, he had to agree with his mouth. Big Brother Yang, I'm sorry. I have a misunderstanding with your daughter. I'm sorry. Li Mingri nodded and said to Yang Dashan. You should be more eye-catching in the future. Yang Dashan enjoyed the current feeling. Since Bao Sanli became badass, he also followed the trend and became badass. The feeling of being badass was really good, especially in front of his two nephews. Yang Dashan felt very proud. In fact, Yang Dashan still worshipped violence. As a man, he worshipped money and power, and Bao Sanli now gave him this kind of power. Yes. Li Mingri nodded and left with Wang Long and the manservant with a gloomy face. Yang Ming, Xiaobo, I am buddies with the owner of this nightclub. He is called Brother Bao in the underworld. He can settle the matters of the underworld of Songjiang. If you are bullied in the future, just mention him. Say that he is my nephew. Yang Dashan patted Yang Ming and Yang Xiaobo's shoulders and said, "So powerful." Yang Xiaobo didn't expect that his uncle actually knew a character at the level of Songjiang's boss. He was a little surprised, but when he thought about it, this was really cool. In the future, he would have a place to brag when he went out. Yang Ming smiled faintly. Bao Sanli? Hehe. Your uncle is now the #1 figure in Songjiang. If there is anything, just call me. Yang Dashan nodded and said with a smile. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Forget it, I'll just satisfy his uncle's desire to act cool. Actually, it wasn't easy for him. He had been around for half his life, and it wasn't easy for him to go from being rich at the start to being rich and powerful now. Yang Ming had already enjoyed this kind of pretentious feeling many times. He was basically used to it. Therefore, occasionally cooperating with others to show off was quite a happy thing. Yang Li was very proud of her father's timely appearance and completely ignored Yang Ming's previous bravery. However, Yang Ming didn't mind being angry with her. He couldn't afford it. In the evening when he returned home, Yang Ming received a call from Ho Jinhan. "Brother Yang, I'm Big Ho." Ho Jinhan said. I know. What's the matter? I'm with my parents now. I'll listen to you." Yang Ming looked at his parents who were walking not far in front, and then whispered to Ho Junhan on the other side of the phone. I got it. Ho Junhan immediately understood and then said to himself, I followed Brother Yang's instructions and let Bao Sanli integrate the brothers under him and set up a security company. Tomorrow is the opening ceremony. Many celebrities in Songjiang City are invited. Brother Yang, Bao Sanli asked if he would come. Is he asking me or Mr. Y? Asked Yang Ming. Oh, it's Mr. Y, Ho Junhan said quickly. He's talking about the behind-the-scenes boss. Since it's behind the scenes, it naturally won't appear. Yang Ming whispered, it's not time for me to appear. Okay, I will tell him. Ho Junhan said. However, you tell him that I will observe in the dark. Yang Ming felt that it was necessary to continue to knock on Bao Sanli's head. No problem. I understand. Ho Junhan replied, Bao Sanli may call you in a while and invite you to attend tomorrow. Of course, it is as another identity of the boss. Okay, I got it. Bao Sanli doesn't have any disloyalty, right? Asked Yang Ming. Probably not. He admires the boss's means very much. He is already very satisfied with his current position. Ho Junhan said. Yang Ming nodded. He didn't say anything and hung up the phone. In fact, the integration of Songjiang's underworld was completely out of impulse. Yang Ming didn't expect to get any benefits from the underworld, and he didn't want to develop on this road. He just liked the feeling of being in control of everything in his own hands. There was a feeling of standing on the cusp of the storm and holding the rotating moon. Since he got his special abilities, his life had become uneven. Therefore, Yang Ming wanted to minimize all the factors that were unfavorable to him. Ho Junhan was right. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Bao Sanli to call. Brother Yang, I am Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli said straightforwardly. A while ago he had just integrated Songjiang's underworld. At that time, Bao Sanli's self-confidence was extremely inflated, so the name of Yang Ming at that time changed from Brother Yang to Yang Ming. However, recently Bao Sanli's mind had calmed down. Ho Junhan also kept knocking on his head and brainwashing him every day. They were working for the boss. Therefore, Bao Sanli also became humble. Especially after setting up a security company and becoming President Bao, his identity was different. He couldn't be too ruffian in his words. It was worth mentioning that the Nightless Club was also taken over by Bao Sanli. Although the original boss was also a badass person compared to the current Bao Sanli, he was naturally worse. The boss was also a smart person. He knew that the Nightless Club was Bao Sanli's headquarters, so he simply gave a reasonable price and gave the nightclub to Bao Sanli. Of course, the legal person of the company was Ho Junhan. Because the money for the nightclub was paid by Yang Ming. As the spokesperson of Mr. Y, Ho Junhan naturally became the legal person. Bao Sanli had no opinion on this. He wasn't stupid. If he rushed to be the legal person, it was inevitable that the boss would have some thoughts after knowing it. When the boss was angry and didn't want him anymore, it would be too late for him to cry. Therefore, although Bao Sanli was the leader of the gang, the one who really had the final say was Ho Junhan. This was no longer a secret in the gang, and Bao Sanli did not reject this statement. He didn't dare to monopolize the power because both he and Ho Junhan were working for the boss. It was just that the trust between Ho Junhan and the boss was higher. And Brother Bao, why are you looking for me? Yang Ming pretended to be surprised and asked, are you here to give me a New Year's greeting? I also have this intention. Bao Sanli smiled and said, tomorrow is the opening of my company. We are friends in need. How about it? Come and support me? Company? What company? Yang Ming naturally wouldn't say that he already knew about the opening of the company. I set up a security company to provide supporting security services for hotels and nightclubs. Bao Sanli said, are you coming tomorrow? Tomorrow I can't guarantee. Yang Ming hesitated. In fact, he didn't want to go, but it wasn't good to refuse. After all, it wasn't appropriate for him to appear on this occasion. Well, then I won't force you. I just want to let you see that I am rich now. Bao Sanli said, tomorrow at Huangshan Road. Call me if you are coming. I will send an underling to pick you up. Yang Ming said, I will try my best. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming didn't take it seriously. He quickly walked a few steps and caught up with his parents in front of him. Who called? Yang Ming's mother suddenly turned around and asked Yang Ming. Yang Ming was shocked and said quickly, Qin Meng. What did you say? Mom asked curiously. That. Yang Ming sweated. Nothing was said. Alright, don't ask Big Ming anymore. They're a couple. Why are you worrying about them? Yang Dehai said with a smile. Now that we are home, do you think that my brother has become better than before? I think so too, but this is good. We are like a family. Mother Yang nodded and the two people turned the topic to uncle. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't mean to hide it from his parents, but he really couldn't tell his parents about what he was doing now. Although Yang Ming tried his best to legalize people like Bao Sanli, it was still a marginal industry. His parents wouldn't understand. Chapter 424. Unexpectedly, not long after hanging up the phone, Yang Ming received a call that surprised him. Because the caller ID on the phone was actually Sun Haoming's name. After the class reunion that day, Yang Ming and Sun Haoming exchanged contact information. They never contacted each other again. At this time he received a call from Sun Haoming. How could Yang Ming not be surprised? Hello. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Yang Ming? Sun Haoming asked. It's me, Sun Haoming, right? Yang Ming replied. I am. Sun Haoming said. Yang Ming, are you in Songjiang? Of course I am in Songjiang. What's wrong? Yang Ming asked, baffled. Are you free tomorrow? I will take you to see a big scene. Sun Haoming said, my boss is treating. Do you want to go and see? Your boss? The boss that you said you recognized? Yang Ming asked, then why should I go? Just treat it as keeping me company. I made you sound like you're invincible. My boss wants to meet you. Sun Haoming stammered. Damn, did this guy brag too much? Their boss wants to see me? Why does he want to see me? Yang Ming shook his head. Forget it. I don't want to go out and mingle anymore. Yang Ming, I have already promised my boss. Just help me. Sun Haoming said with a bitter face. My boss just valued me. I don't want to disappoint him. AI okay? Yang Ming said helplessly. Yang Ming was a person who knew how to repay kindness. When he was in middle school, Yang Ming was still very clear about who was good to him. Therefore, although Sun Haoming's request was a bit coercive, Yang Ming wouldn't lose anything even if he went there. Yang Ming didn't believe that there was anyone in Songjiang City who could force him to do anything. Therefore, as long as Yang Ming explained clearly that he had no intention of going out, Sun Haoming's boss probably wouldn't have any objections. That's great. Sun Haoming said happily. Then tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'll look for you. By the way, is your house still near Red Flag High School? It's still there. Yang Ming said, you know, the family area of the Songjiang bus factory. Okay, I'll wait for you downstairs at 8 o'clock. Sun Haoming said. Alright. Yang Ming agreed. It was a silent night. The next morning Yang Ming woke up early again. He had planned to rest well during the New Year's Day, but he woke up early for 3 consecutive days. As soon as he went downstairs he saw Sun Haoming's familiar figure. This guy was straddling a 125 off-road motorcycle. He was still wearing a tight leather jacket which was very eye-catching. The motorcycle had been sprayed with various colors, and there were also some messy stickers on it. Get in the car. Sun Haoming patted the back of his seat. Damn, what are you doing? Can you get on the road? Yang Ming shook his head. Aren't you afraid of being caught by the police? New Year's Day holiday. There aren't many traffic police on the road. It's fine. Sun Haoming said proudly, I usually go out at night, so I'm not afraid of being caught. Yang Ming was speechless. A typical opportunist. But he still got on the back of Sun Haoming's motorcycle. Sit tight, let's go. Sun Haoming started the motorcycle and sped to the road. Where are we going? Asked Yang Ming. Let's find my boss first. Sun Haoming said, then he'll bring us along. Isn't your boss treating? Yang Ming asked curiously, what do you mean he'll bring us along? Sun Haoming blushed. His boss is treating, so he'll bring us to see. Damn. Yang Ming sweated. Is this okay? Almost. Sun Haoming smiled. Forget it. Yang Ming was helpless. But since he had already come out with Sun Haoming, he didn't care who was treating. The motorcycle in front stopped by the side. A voice suddenly came, scaring Yang Ming and Sun Haoming. Huh. Yang Ming almost fell off the motorcycle. It's Xia Shui again? Of course, this voice was undoubtedly Xia Shui's. Yang Ming thought, this is really fucking bad luck. How can I meet Xia Shui every time I go out? We're really enemies. It seems that I have to look at the Chinese calendar when I go out in the future. Xia Shui had just withdrawn from the People's Hospital. She had been waiting for a few days without any results, which made Xia Shui extremely irritated. That ghost seemed to have disappeared and never appeared again. This group of police officers had to take shifts nervously every day to guard the hospital. She didn't have a good New Year's Day. Just as she was about to go home to rest, she saw a motorcycle suddenly jump out from beside her police car. Moreover, the motorcycle was actually carrying a person. Originally, it was against the rules for a motorcycle to be on the road. Now that it was carrying a person, it was a serious violation. Xia Shui was suddenly furious. She picked up the loudspeaker and shouted at the front. What should we do? Sun Haoming asked Yang Ming. What should we do? Yang Ming broke into a sweat. If Xia Shui took it down, he probably wouldn't be able to get away for a while. He might even be asked this and that. So he asked, how is the performance of your motorcycle? It's been modified. There's nothing to say. Sun Haoming immediately understood Yang Ming's meaning. Don't worry. It's more than enough to outrun her police car. Okay, then let's run. Yang Ming nodded and said. Hold on tight. I'm going to speed up. As Sun Haoming said this, he began to increase the throttle. A powerful engine roared and the motorcycle began to accelerate. Xia Shui just felt that the person sitting behind the motorcycle was familiar. When she looked closely, why did it seem like Yang Ming? Yang Ming's coat and body shape were very familiar to Xia Shui, so she quickly determined that it was Yang Ming. Yang Ming, stop the car quickly. I have recognized you. Xia Shui shouted into the loudspeaker. My God. Sun Haoming was stunned. Recognize you. When Yang Ming heard Xia Shui actually shouted his name, he knew that it wasn't good. Hurry up and run. Don't let her catch us. Otherwise we will suffer. Yang Ming, did you do something wrong to her? Sun Haoming asked with a smile. I was caught by her before. Yang Ming didn't want to explain too much, so he just vaguely said this. Turned out to be like this. Sun Haoming quickly increased the throttle and the motorcycle went away. Xia Shui angrily hit the steering wheel and stopped the motorcycle on the side of the road. It was impossible to catch up with Yang Ming. The motorcycle was originally light. It was impossible to perform a car chase on this kind of road. She took out her phone and dialed Yang Ming's number angrily. Yang Ming, why didn't you stop the car? Xia Shui asked angrily. Why didn't I stop the car? Who are you? Yang Ming pretended to be ignorant and asked, Oh, you are Xia Shui? Yang Ming, don't pretend to be confused. Why didn't you stop the car just now? Xia Shui said coldly. Stop the car? Xia Shui, what are you talking about? I didn't drive, right? Yang Ming pretended to be puzzled and said, My motorcycle has been returned to a friend. You know, the motorcycle has a lot of problems. I simply didn't drive it, Yang Ming. I didn't ask you about driving. Xia Shui interrupted Yang Ming's words. You didn't ask me about driving? Didn't you say that I didn't stop the car? Yang Ming's tone was full of doubts. Weren't you sitting on someone else's motorcycle just now? Asked Xia Shui. Motorcycle? What motorcycle? Didn't you confiscate my motorcycle? Yang Ming continued to pretend to be confused. Xia Shui was speechless. Did I just see wrongly? No, that person seemed to be Yang Ming. Someone else was riding a motorcycle and carrying you, right? Riding a motorcycle? I don't do such a dangerous thing. What if I die? Yang Ming said with a smile, Let me tell you. I have a junior high school classmate who was riding a motorcycle and carrying his classmate on the street. Suddenly, the motorcycle hit a rock. As a result, the back wheel of the motorcycle tilted up. Then the person on the motorcycle flew out like a rocket launcher. Have you seen a TV series called Dinosaur Super Cozy Eye? It was just like the shooting of a human cannon. It's okay. I'm hanging up. Xia Shui completely dispelled the idea that the person was Yang Ming. I'm really a genius. Yang Ming proudly put the phone back in his pocket. Damn, you can really make it up. Sun Haoming waited for Yang Ming to hang up the phone. Then he suddenly laughed. Ha, I'm dying of laughter. Unfortunately, before he could finish laughing, an accident happened. All of a sudden, there was a thump under the motorcycle and the body of the motorcycle trembled violently. Because the speed was too fast, Sun Haoming couldn't control the direction and hit the curb, and the entire motorcycle flipped forward. Chapter 425. Sun Haoming was instantly like the human cannon that Yang Ming had just said. He flew out of the motorcycle and fell heavily on the side of the road. Yang Ming's skill was still agile. This period of assassin training was not in vain. His reaction ability was naturally much better than Sun Haoming's. Although he also flew out, he adjusted his body's center of gravity so that he landed flat on the ground. He did not suffer any damage. The motorcycle was still smoking, the back wheels whirred, and the engine roared. Yang Ming shook his head with a wry smile. Do you have to laugh like this? Is it over? Is it a tragedy? Yang Ming stood up and came to Sun Haoming's side. Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? Sun Haoming did not answer, but his mouth kept muttering, junior high school classmate, human cannon, your broken mouth is too accurate, isn't it? Sun Haoming rubbed the sore part and continued to drive the motorcycle with the paint peeling off on the road. Although the motorcycle was unsightly, it was still sturdy and there was no problem driving it. What does it have to do with me? If you don't laugh, can you overturn the car? Yang Ming snorted. Of course it has to do with me. You said it, one of your junior high school classmates was carrying someone on the road. The human cannon fired. Sun Haoming complained. Yang Ming was speechless. What a coincidence. It didn't take long for the two people to come to a small game hall. Sun Haoming went in first and Yang Ming followed. Brother Bai, this is Yang Ming, my good junior high school buddy. Sun Haoming pointed to Yang Ming and introduced him to a man who looked like a pickle jar in front of him. You're Yang Ming? Brother Bai glanced at Yang Ming. My name is Bai Kansas. People in the underworld call me Brother Bai. Oh, hello, Bai Kansas. Yang Ming nodded to him and did not call him by his underworld name. Bai Kan's face changed slightly. Yang Ming called him by his name, which meant that he did not put his underworld identity in his eyes, which made Bai Kan slightly upset. How's your friend is awesome. Bai Kan sneered and said to Sun Haoming, he is indeed a badass. Sun Haoming's face was a little embarrassed. He quickly said to Yang Ming, call Brother Bai. Call him. Yang Ming shook his head. I'm not related to him and I'm not very familiar with him. Although Yang Ming, he was badass, was a little angry. Which path are you on? I'm from Songjiang Industry University. I'm an only child. There is no boss or second boss in my family. Yang Ming said faintly. Heh. Bai Kan was so angry that he laughed. Okay, Yang Ming, right? You think you are quite good, right? What do you mean? Yang Ming pretended not to understand and asked. Pretentious. Bai Kan sneered. Howsy, your friend is quite pretentious, right? This is what you mean by introducing a friend to me? Brother Bai. Sun Haoming was in a dilemma. Yang Ming, can you give me face? Brother Bai is my boss. Yes, he is your boss. I gave you face and came with you. Yang Ming said easily. Bai Kan looked at Yang Ming coldly. Bai Kan, right? Yang Ming looked at Bai Kan and said word by word. You are Sun Haoming's boss. It is normal for him to call you Brother Bai, but I don't have any other relationship with you. Why don't you call me Brother Yang? Okay, if you want me to call you Brother Yang, you have to have the strength. Bai Kan also became stubborn. He took off his coat and revealed the vest inside. I heard that your skill is good. Let's practice. If you beat me, I can call you Brother Yang. I won't practice with you. You don't have to call me Brother Yang. Yang Ming ignored him and rejected him directly. Seeing that the atmosphere between the two sides was getting stiffer and stiffer, Sun Haoming had to mediate. Brother Bai, my buddy's temper is like this. He was a ruthless person in the underworld. Ruthless person, right? Bai Kan saw that Yang Ming didn't have the intention to compete. Because Sun Haoming was here, he couldn't use force. After all, the boss also wanted face, so he said, well, you will go with me to attend our boss's banquet. When you get there, you will know what a ruthless person is. Yang Ming shrugged and said with a smile, can I not go? Anyway, you want to see me, not your boss. If you are a man, go with me. Aren't you arrogant? When you get there, I will see if you can still be arrogant. Bai Kan stared and provoked. Forget it. Since you said so, then I will go with you. Yang Ming had nothing to do, so he agreed. This Bai Kan's words were really unpleasant. Originally, Yang Ming didn't intend to bother with him, but because of Sun Haoming's face, he didn't want to make it too stiff. Looking at Sun Haoming's somewhat pleading eyes, Yang Ming had to nod. This time he didn't need to ride a motorcycle. Bai Kan had a Charlie car that had changed hands many times. It was actually several times worse than Ho Junhan's Jetta. The car was squeaking when it was driven, which made Yang Ming somewhat nervous. He didn't want it to fall apart halfway. However, Baiken enjoyed driving it. At least he had a car, although the car was a bit broken. Huangshan Road? Yang Ming was stunned. Why is it so familiar? Where did I hear this name before? Yang Ming shook his head. There were too many things recently. He didn't remember in detail the unimportant things. Ming Yang Security Company opening ceremony, the big slogan swayed in the wind. Security Company? Yang Ming patted his forehead. Oh my god, it turns out to be Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli had called him yesterday and told him that his security company had opened on Huangshan Road. Could it be that the boss that Baiken was talking about is Bao Sanli? It is really possible. The little punks in Songjiang are basically Bao Sanli's underlings. Ming Yang Security Company? Yang Ming was a bit embarrassed. Is this name an innuendo? Yang Ming Ming Yang. Needless to say, this must be Ho Zhenhan's masterpiece. Wait, where is your invitation? A man in a black suit at the door blocked Yang Ming's way. Do I need an invitation? Bai Kim was stunned. I am following Brother Hai. Nonsense, how would I know you without an invitation? The man in the suit rolled his eyes at Bai Kansas. Which Brother Hai? Bai Hai, Brother Bai Hai. Baiken said respectfully. Oh, it's Brother Hai's underling. Then you wait for a while. Brother Hai hasn't come yet. The man in the suit seemed to be very respectful to Bai Hai, but he didn't care much about Bai Kansas. Yes. Baiken nodded and bowed. Go aside. Don't stand here to block the door. The man in the suit waved his hand and said, Yes. Baiken nodded and then pulled Sun Haoming and Yang Ming to stand aside. You can't go in? Yang Ming looked at Baiken funnily. Who is Sun Haoming following? Isn't he too trashy? He actually follows Bai Hai, not Bao Sanli. If you have the ability, why don't you go in and let me see? Baiken glanced at Yang Ming. The one inside is the boss of Songjiang. Do you understand? Yang Ming smiled and didn't say anything. Isn't it easy to go in? Just call Bao Sanli or Ho Zhenhan and you can go in. After a while, Bai Hai came. This guy actually brought Gu Xinyao along. It seems that this guy put Yang Ming's words in his heart. Brother Hai, you are here. The attitude of the man in the black suit at the door immediately changed. He nodded to Bai Hai respectfully. Seems that Bai Hai is really doing well. Most people here know him. Bai Hai nodded. Right, Brother Hai, there is a person who claims to be your underling. Should we let him in? Asked the man in the black suit. Who is it? Is it Xiao Bai? Bai Hai asked. That kid insisted on coming with me to see the scene, so I let him come together. There are 3 people, said the man in the black suit. 3? Why are there 3? Bai Hai was stunned. At this time, Baiken also saw Bai Hai and went to greet him. Big Brother Hai, you are here. Bai Hai nodded and said, Why? Did you bring other brothers here? Oh, they are my underlings. I want to bring them here to see. Baiken said carefully. Your underlings? Bai Hai frowned. Do you know that I am already making an exception by bringing you here? Do you know who are the people inside? Brother Bao and Brother Ho. How can you bring underlings with such identities? Baiken blushed. Forget it. Let them come over. Bai Hai waved his hand and said helplessly. Chapter 426. You two come here. Baiken said arrogantly to Yang Ming and Sun Haoming. Yang Ming shrugged and walked over with Sun Haoming. At this time, Bai Hai also saw Yang Ming. He couldn't help but be surprised. Yang Ming was a person who could talk to Bao Sanli. How could he suddenly be someone else's underling? You two, what are you looking at? Call me Brother Hai. This is my boss. Bai Ken glared and yelled at Yang Ming and Sun Haoming. Pa. As Bai Ken's voice just fell, a big slap landed on his face. He was suddenly stunned. He looked at the perpetrator Bai Hai with some astonishment. He opened his mouth incredulously. Brother Hai, why did you hit me? Brother Hai, my ass. Bai Hai scolded. Can Brother Yang call me Brother Hai? Calling me Little Hai is already flattering me. After that, Bai Hai turned around and looked at Yang Ming and said, Brother Yang, you are here too? Why don't you go in? Oh, it was a good buddy of mine from junior high who brought me here. This is his boss. What's his name? Right, his name is Bai Kansas. He asked me to call him Brother Bai. He also said that he brought me here to see the scene. Yang Ming smiled and said, Pa. Another big slap landed on his face. Brother Yang is a friend of Brother Bao. How can he not see the world? Did your brain get punctured? Baiken really had an impulse to cry. Didn't Sun Haoming say that this Yang Ming was a college student? And he hasn't been in the underworld for a long time. Why is he still so badass? What you? Call me Brother Yang. Bai Hai was a little unhappy. He thought that this underling named Baiken was a more eye-catching guy, so he brought him out to broaden his horizons. He did not expect Baiken to be so insensible. What is he doing in a daze? Brother Yang. This time Baiken reacted quickly and said quickly. Don't. I don't have such a big face. Yang Ming was still more vengeful. What kind of person is this? He wants to fight with me. Brother Yang. I don't know. Baiken was a little embarrassed. Here the most surprised one was Sun Haoming. He didn't expect that his boss's boss was actually so respectful to Yang Ming. This made him feel very strange. Seeing that Yang Ming ignored him, Baiken had no choice but to stand aside embarrassedly. This is none of your business. You can go back. Bai Hai glared at Baiken's. I will deal with you later. Baiken was also very helpless. He didn't expect that the opportunity to get in touch with the higher-ups was gone. However, there was no other way. Who asked him to be so blind? He couldn't ignore Bai Hai's words, so he yelled at Sun Haoming, you go back with me. He naturally didn't dare to say anything to Yang Ming. He could only vent his anger on his underling. I asked you to go back by yourself. Bai Hai knew that Sun Haoming was Yang Ming's junior high school buddy. Moreover, when he saw Yang Ming, he talked and laughed with him. Obviously, they were close friends. How could he drive Sun Haoming away? Not only would he not let him go, but he would also remember this person. If there was a chance in the future, he must promote him. He would not forget Yang Ming's kindness to him. Baiken was very depressed. What is this? I left, but my underling stayed. How can I go out in the future? I can't raise my head in front of other underlings. But thinking about it was just thinking about it. Baiken still left obediently. This is Sun Haoming, my good buddy from junior high school. Yang Ming patted Sun Haoming's shoulder and said to Bai Hai, Brother Sun, hello. Bai Hai quickly reached out and shook hands with Sun Haoming. Just call me Little Hai in the future. Brother Hai, you. Sun Haoming was a little overwhelmed. The person in front of him was his boss's boss. He was actually so respectful to him. Sun Haoming didn't know what to do. Let's not talk about that. You're Brother Yang's buddy. Naturally, you are a person that I, Bai Hai, respect. Bai Hai saw Sun Haoming's embarrassment and quickly explained. But Sun Haoming was still a little embarrassed. It's okay, Sun Haoming. Just call him whatever he wants you to call him. Yang Ming said faintly, let's go. Let's go in and see. Baiken is gone. I will bring you to meet the bosses of the upper class. Although the black suit guarding the door didn't know who Yang Ming was, seeing that Bai Hai was respectful to him, he didn't dare to neglect. He welcomed Yang Ming into the banquet hall with a smile. The banquet hall was very big. There were guests coming and going. Could be seen that Bao Sanli now had a lot of face. Here Yang Ming saw several familiar people. Guo Jianchao and President Hua were among them. Since Guo Jianchao and President Hua were here, would Sun Jie come? He didn't know why, but Yang Ming suddenly thought of Sun Jie. But then he slapped his forehead and remembered that Sun Jie was still in Donghai. It was impossible for her to appear here. There was another person who surprised him. It was Song Hang. Song Hang actually came too. However, the surprise was still behind. One by one, unexpected people appeared in front of Yang Ming. Of course, they were all famous people in Songjiang City. What surprised Yang Ming the most was that his uncle actually came. This made Yang Ming have an impulse to leave immediately. He wasn't afraid to see his uncle, but he was afraid that his uncle would tell his parents about his matter. However, since he had already come in, it was inappropriate to leave now. Besides, Sun Haoming was still by his side. Yang Ming, how do you know Brother Hai? Taking advantage of the time when Bai Hai was greeting others, Sun Haoming asked curiously. Bai Hai, it's a long story. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. This really couldn't be explained in a few words. Yang Ming said, let's talk about this later. If you really want to take this path, I will let Bai Hai help you. Yang Ming, have you been lying to me? Are you actually still in the underworld? Sun Haoming looked at Yang Ming strangely. Why does Brother Hai respect you so much? I know Bai Hai's boss. Yang Ming smiled. And Bai Hai's promotion was also recommended by me. Brother Bao? Sun Haoming said with surprise. Yang Ming, you know Brother Bao? And I have a good relationship with him. I will introduce him to you later. Yang Ming nodded and said, Really? That's great. Sun Haoming said excitedly, I know that you always have a way. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to hide in the crowd. When the banquet was about to end, he would find a chance to meet with Bao Sanli privately so that he could avoid meeting his uncle. But what he was afraid of came. Before Yang Ming could find a hidden corner to hide, he heard Bao Sanli's loud voice shouting, Brother Yang, you are here? Yang Ming secretly thought, Your eyesight is almost catching up with mine. Why is it so good? In fact, it wasn't that Bao Sanli's eyesight was good, but everyone who came here would be reported to Bao Sanli by Bao Sanli's followers. In this way, Bao Sanli could know who came. If there were some people with status, Bao Sanli still had to greet them personally. Delay naturally knew Yang Ming. After seeing Yang Ming come in, he told Bao Sanli. Then Bao Sanli found Yang Ming. However, coincidentally, Yang Ming's uncle Yang Dashan was also not far from the door. When he heard Bao Sanli suddenly shouting Brother Yang, he turned his head with some surprise. When he saw Bao Sanli coming here, he couldn't help but feel flattered. Bao Sanli usually called him Boss Yang. He had never called him Brother Yang. This time he called him Brother Yang in front of so many people. Obviously, Bao Sanli gave him enough face, so Yang Dashan immediately greeted him. Brother Bao, you called me? Bao Sanli frowned and looked at Yang Dashan and said, I didn't call you. Brother Bao, didn't you just call Brother Yang? Yang Dashan wondered. Do you think you are qualified to be Brother Yang? Bao Sanli said with some seriousness, We have a good relationship, but don't mess up the seniority. Yang Dashan was even more confused. It's not me. Then there is no one with the surname Yang around here? And, Yang Ming? Why is this kid here? Yang Dashan looked back and forth and actually saw Yang Ming's figure. This kid, he didn't learn good things at such a young age. Why did he come to this place? Yang Dashan was embarrassed and had nowhere to vent. When he saw that his nephew actually appeared here, he couldn't help but be angry. He was ready to teach Yang Ming a lesson. He didn't think about how Yang Ming came here and how he came in. He simply wanted to vent his embarrassment, so he didn't think so much about other things. Yang Dashan, who was humiliated by Bao Sanli, quickly walked toward Yang Ming. Chapter 427. Yang. As Bao Sanli was about to speak, he was interrupted by Yang Dashan, who followed closely behind. Yang Ming. Why are you here? You're still in school. Is this a place for you? Yang Dashan reprimanded with some anger. How did you come in? Uncle. Yang Ming said with some embarrassment, My friend asked me to come. Your friend? What kind of shady friend did you make? Which friend asked you to come? I am going to settle accounts with him. Yang Dashan lectured. Bao Sanli stood there and his face turned green. Yang Dashan. Aren't you making oblique accusations in front of me? Isn't this equivalent to slapping my face? Bao Sanli was so angry that he gritted his teeth and trembled. No wonder he was angry. It was normal. Isn't Yang Ming's friend Bao Sanli? Yesterday he called and invited Yang Ming to come over. How did I become a shady friend? Yang Dashan, what are you talking about? Bao Sanli was very annoyed. Are you making oblique accusations? Brother Bao, what are you talking about? Yang Dashan was somewhat inexplicable. I am teaching my nephew a lesson. I called Brother Yang and asked him to come over. Then do you mean that I am a shady person? Are you going to settle accounts with me? Bao Sanli glared and said with some anger. What Brother Yang? Yang Dashan was stunned. Brother Bao, you called my nephew Brother Yang? Bao Sanli's face turned purple this time. Your nephew? Do you know how to speak? I called your nephew brother. Then do you mean that I am a generation younger than you? Do I have to call you uncle too? Cough cough. Delay also saw that Yang Dashan had inadvertently annoyed Bao Sanli. He was quite familiar with Yang Dashan. He couldn't bear to let him continue to make a fool of himself, so he coughed twice and said, Dashan, we are friends with Brother Yang in the detention center. We are all friends. If you say this, aren't you making things difficult for Brother Bao? Only then did Yang Dashan react. His words just now were really a little too much. So he said with some embarrassment, Brother Bao, don't be angry. I didn't mean that. Humph. Bao Sanli snorted. I know that you are a tiger, or else I would have slapped you. Yang Dashan nodded quickly. Yes, Brother Bao. I'm just like this. I'm more straightforward. Please don't mind. After that he quickly moved to the side. However, he was very surprised in his heart. When did Yang Ming and Bao Sanli have a life-and-death friendship? Moreover, to hear Di Lei say that they know each other in the detention center? Yang Ming had been to the detention center? Why didn't I know that? Yang Dashan pondered. Should I tell my brother about this? However, Yang Dashan hesitated after being yelled at by Bao Sanli. The relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli was very good. Wouldn't it be troublesome if I complained? It seems that I have to find Yang Ming and have a good talk. This nephew of mine doesn't seem to be so simple. At this time, Yang Dashan suddenly remembered Yang Ming's performance when they were eating at the heavenly earth. He couldn't help but frown. Did I always underestimate Yang Ming and his family? Or did I just underestimate Yang Ming? Yes, with the close relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli, I really underestimated Yang Ming. What did Bao Sanli call Yang Ming? Brother Yang. Who was Bao Sanli? Although calling others brother didn't necessarily mean that they were direct leaders, it was at least an honorific title. It showed respect. Therefore, Yang Dashan didn't dare to say much at the moment. He could only wait until the end of the banquet and ask Yang Ming. Yang Ming was also somewhat helpless. He was hiding from his uncle, but he was still found out. He could only talk to him alone in a while so that he wouldn't tell his parents about him. Seeing that his uncle could mix with Bao Sanli, he obviously wasn't an old-fashioned person. Therefore, Yang Ming wasn't worried. At most, he would confess a little truth to his uncle. Brother Bao, I came uninvited. I'm sorry. Yang Ming thought about this and let it go. He cupped his fist and smiled at Bao Sanli. Hee, why did you come uninvited? Didn't I call you yesterday? You coming to support me is giving me face. Bao Sanli smiled and said, right, Brother Ho is over there. Don't you know him? You can meet him in a while. Okay. Yang Ming nodded and said, Brother Bao, your business is getting better and better. I'm just making a living. How about it, Brother Yang? Are you interested in coming over? Speaking of this, Bao Sanli suddenly remembered that he was now working for others. He didn't have the final say. He couldn't make the decision. The boss behind the scenes had to agree. He couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. However, Yang Ming didn't wait for him to finish and interrupted him. Brother Bao, let's talk about this later. Then I won't force it. Bao Sanli also took advantage of the situation and bypassed this topic. Bai Hai, you are lucky to have Brother Yang to support you. Bao Sanli looked at Bai Hai next to Yang Ming. Bai Hai was immediately grateful. Bao Sanli was right. If there was no Yang Ming, he wouldn't be able to overthrow Wu Xinkai. There were too many guests. Bao Sanli couldn't chat with Yang Ming for too long. After apologizing, he went to greet others. Yang Ming didn't care. After all, Bao Sanli still didn't know that he was Mr. Y, the boss behind the scenes. Bao Sanli left, but Yang Ming knew several of Bao Sanli's core subordinates. Di Lei stayed here to talk with Yang Ming. Lazy, let me introduce you to someone. This is my good buddy from junior high school. If there is something good in the future, remember to promote him. Yang Ming patted Sun Haoming's shoulder and said. Di Lei's gratitude to Yang Ming wasn't just a little bit. When he fought with Yu Xiangda in the detention center, Yang Ming contributed a lot, so Di Lei had always respected Yang Ming. No problem, Brother Yang. Your buddy is my buddy. Di Lei nodded. Young man, what's your name? Sun Haoming, I am now following Brother Bai. Speaking until here, Sun Haoming paused. Di Lei definitely wouldn't know Bai Can, so he had to change his words. I am following Brother Hai. Bai Hai, go back and find a good position for him. Let him train first. When the company opens, he will be the captain. Di Lei instructed Bai Hai. Captain, let me be. Sun Haoming was stunned. And the Mingyang Security Company is divided into several security teams. You will be one of the captains. Di Lei said. Sun Haoming was so excited that he didn't know what to say. He came out to make a living, but he didn't expect Di Lei to let him work in the company directly. Di Lei even arranged a small position for him. How could this not make him excited? Thank you, Brother Lei. Sun Haoming said quickly. You don't have to thank me. Just thank Brother Yang. Di Lei smiled. It wasn't a big deal to arrange someone. Yang Ming wasn't very interested in the social activities at the banquet, but for Sun Haoming he still took him around and introduced him to a few people he was familiar with. When he came to Yang Ming's side, he pretended not to be very familiar with him and introduced Sun Haoming to him. Ho Junhan naturally understood Yang Ming's hint and nodded to Sun Haoming. Sun Haoming didn't expect that he would come here today and meet so many Big Brother-level characters. He was really happy with his wise move of inviting Yang Ming. After the banquet, Yang Ming hurriedly bid farewell to Bao Sanli and Sun Haoming. He still had other things to do. That was to find his uncle and go out to talk to him. Before he complained to his parents, he had to deal with him first. Although Sun Haoming had a lot of questions to ask Yang Ming, he could only give up when he saw that Yang Ming still had things to do. He made an appointment to talk about it later. Yang Ming was afraid that his uncle left too quickly and had already gone back. He quickly quickened his pace and rushed to the entrance of the banquet hall. Yang Dashan actually had the same idea. When the two people bumped into each other at the door, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. Yang Ming, why are you in such a hurry? Come tell uncle what's going on. Uncle. In fact, I was looking for you. I was afraid that you would leave. Yang Ming shook his head and said, you were looking for me too? Sco. It's too messy here. Let's find a quiet place to talk. Yang Dashan sighed and said, you won't not give uncle face, right? Brother Yang? Uncle, you are joking. That's because Bao Sanli respects me. In any case, you are still my uncle and my elder. How can you call me Brother Yang? Yang Ming said with some embarrassment. Chapter 428. Well, Yang Ming, let's find a place to talk? Yang Dashan inquired. Yang Dashan was originally a person who fawned over those in power. When he saw that Bao Sanli was so respectful to Yang Ming, he didn't dare to yell anymore. No problem. Yang Ming nodded. I'm not familiar with this area. Will you tell me where to go? There is a good coffee shop in front. I often go there to talk about business. Yang Dashan opened the door of the front passenger seat and let Yang Ming go in first. This made Yang Ming somewhat flattered. Eldest uncle had never been so submissive to him before. Yang Ming was sometimes very strong, but that was when he was dealing with his enemies or people who were smug with him. Strictly speaking, his uncle also belonged to this kind of person, but Yang Ming couldn't show too much dissatisfaction with him. In the final analysis, this was because his uncle had the title of a relative. He was his father's brother, so even if it was because of his father's face, Yang Ming couldn't do anything to his uncle. If he likes to be pretentious, then let him be. What does it have to do with me? Today, when he saw his uncle's attitude suddenly change 180 degrees, Yang Ming was really at a loss of what to do. His uncle's car was a Toyota Camry, a new model that was just bought last year, but this was the first time that Yang Ming rode in it. Yang Ming, your uncle has been doing business for the past few years. He has neglected you children. You won't blame your uncle, right? Yang Dashan asked as he drove. Yang Ming was stunned. What happened to his uncle today? Why did he speak so strangely? However, Yang Ming didn't have any opinion at all. His uncle wasn't his father. So what if he neglected him? Yang Ming didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. Yang Ming, do you think that uncle is a very unscrupulous person? Seeing that Yang Ming didn't speak, Yang Dashan smiled awkwardly. Uncle, I don't want to comment on anything. Everyone has their own way of life, right? Yang Ming shook his head. How you do it is your own business. This is understandable. Yang Ming, you really are still angry with uncle? Yang Dashan sighed. In fact, uncle had no choice. Yang Ming didn't say anything. He didn't want to say anything. After all, his uncle's attitude towards his relatives was a problem of his own character. Yang Ming had no right to criticize him. Uncle, you're looking for me just to tell me this? Yang Ming was a little impatient. If he was going to say these useless things, then he might as well not say it. When we get there, let's talk about it again. Yang Dashan gave a hollow laugh. The car drove to the door of a classic coffee house. Yang Ming and Yang Dashan got off together. The receptionist at the door was obviously familiar with Yang Dashan. Yang Dashan didn't speak, and the receptionist led them to a small table with a more elegant environment. What do you want to drink? Yang Dashan took the order from the waitress and handed it to Yang Ming. Anything. Juice is fine. Yang Ming didn't order the order, so he said casually. He didn't come here to drink but to talk to his uncle. Is freshly squeezed orange juice okay? Asked the waitress. Yang Ming nodded and Yang Dashan asked for a cup of coffee. After the waitress left, Yang Ming looked at Yang Dashan. He hesitated and asked, Uncle, are you going to tell my parents about today's matter? Yang Dashan wasn't a meddlesome person. He just found Yang Ming to vent his anger because he was bullied by Bao Sanli. When he knew the relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli, he immediately stopped. What's the matter? Yang Dashan asked and pretended to be inexplicable. Yang Ming smiled and knew what he meant. It seemed that Yang Dashan wasn't going to tell his parents. Yang Ming's hanging heart also settled down. Originally he planned to threaten and tempt when it really didn't work. He didn't expect his uncle to be so straightforward. Well, since uncle doesn't want to mention it, then I didn't ask. Yang Ming said, I don't know why uncle is looking for me. Yang Ming, over the years, uncle admits that uncle can be said to be indifferent to you. You may despise uncle and say that uncle is cold-blooded, but uncle is actually fighting with you. Yang Dashan said helplessly. Fighting with you? What do you mean? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Uncle, there are some things that you don't have to explain. I don't blame you. Although you are my uncle, you don't owe me anything. I don't care whether you treat me well or badly. No, Yang Ming, you listen to your uncle first. Yang Dashan interrupted Yang Ming's words and continued. In the past, your uncle was also a worker in the Songjiang bus factory. At that time, an old director of our workshop had retired. I was the apprentice of the old director. In terms of qualifications, this position should be mine, but the brother-in-law of the factory director at that time came out and interfered, squeezing me out. At that time I was discouraged and wanted to leave the Songjiang bus factory, but your father and Yang Xiaobo's father advised me to continue to stay in the factory. In the beginning, the two brothers only advised me, but I had made up my mind at that time. I wanted to come out alone. Your father and Yang Xiaobo's father were very angry at that time. They accused me that I didn't want a stable job and insisted on being self-employed. Wasn't this looking for trouble? It was simply a waste of my brain. The relationship between us three brothers also became tense because of this incident. Later, your father and Yang Xiaobo's father threatened me that if I dared to resign, they would not recognize me as their elder brother. I was also young and impetuous at that time. I said in a fit of pique that if I, Yang Dashan, became rich one day, the two of you shouldn't come to me to ask for things. Your father and Yang Xiaobo's father both laughed at me at that time. They said, how much development could a self-employed person have? No matter how badass I was just a stall owner. In this way, I resigned from the factory and came out to do it alone. I didn't expect that I really made a name for myself. Although I have also been in contact with your father and Yang Xiaobo's father over the years, the relationship between the brothers has faded a lot because of the incident at that time. I am the eldest in the family, the eldest in the Yang family. I was looked down upon by my two younger brothers. Do you know how uncomfortable my heart was at that time? I also know that I am not young anymore. I can't be like a child anymore, but the knot in my heart can't be untied. Ah. Yang Ming listened with his mouth wide open. He looked at his uncle at a loss. Uncle, why didn't I know about what you said? How old were you in 1995? How could he possibly know such trivial matters? Yang Dashan smiled bitterly. You should know what kind of person your father is. He is very old-fashioned. I was angry that he looked down on me in the past, so he was neither cold nor warm to you in the past few years. Because of this, your aunt has advised me many times. I was not sensible when I was young. Now that I am so old, why am I still so stubborn? Maybe your uncle is a narrow-minded person, so I have not eased the relationship with your father. But a few days ago your first aunt persuaded me again. Your first uncle is almost 40 years old and I've lived more than half of my life. It's meaningless to continue living like this. That's why I asked your dad to come out yesterday. You should have noticed the change in my attitude. Yang Ming didn't expect that there were so many twists and turns in the middle. Have I always misunderstood my uncle? Yang Ming finally understood why his father had no opinion on his uncle's attitude from the association. It turned out that it was because of this matter. Yang Ming still understood his father's thinking. He was old-fashioned and didn't like to take risks, so he must have conflicts with his uncle in the past. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly. Turns out that the truth is often not what I think. Yang Ming, you may think that Yang Li's attitude to you is not good, but this is also because I spoiled her. When she was young, she didn't know about these things between your father and me. She thought that I looked down on you relatives, so it is normal for her to have prejudice against you. Yang Dashan continued, I will talk to her. Yang Ming, uncle has told you his story. Can you tell uncle about your matter? Uncle, maybe I have wronged you, but your indifferent attitude toward our family and Yang Xiaobo's family has caused a lot of confusion for me and Yang Xiaobo. Do you know? We thought that uncle was a person without feelings since we were young. Yang Ming said helplessly. Many things in that era couldn't be explained clearly. In the 90s, it was normal for people to be very conservative at that time. They thought that doing business was not as good as an iron rice bowl. My father did it for your own good. You yourself also had your own ideas, but your ideas in the eyes of my father at that time were unrealistic and just a fantasy. Yang Ming looked at his uncle and said, "And you as a big brother, can't you be more generous? Because of this small matter it became like this now?" Chapter 429. You're right. I understand now. Let's just let bygones be bygones. Yang Dashan nodded and said, "Maybe I was too stubborn. Well, don't mention this matter anymore. What about you guys? After all, it's my father's matter. I can't say anything." Yang Ming interrupted his uncle's words and waved his hand. "Uncle, what do you want to know? Just ask." "Yang Ming, you and Brother Bao seem to be very familiar." Yang Dashan nodded and asked. "And we're relatively familiar. It's okay." Yang Ming said, "Didn't he mention it to you? Did Brother Bao know that we were uncle and nephew?" Yang Dashan asked, baffled. "It was when you were kidnapped. I found someone to save you." Since Yang Dashan already knew some of Yang Ming's background, Yang Ming might as well tell him that he was the one who did it. However, it was more obscure. He didn't say that he did it himself, but he found someone to save him. "What? That kidnapping, it was you?" Yang Dashan immediately showed a horrified expression after listening. "Well, let's not talk about this first." Yang Ming didn't intend to continue talking about this topic. "Uncle, I understand what you mean, but you're a businessman. It's better not to be too close to Bao Sanli. It's not good for your future development." Yang Ming seemed to be advising his uncle not to get involved in the underworld. In fact, he was planning for himself. The fact that he was Mr. Y would be exposed sooner or later. Yang Ming didn't want his family to be involved in this group. He couldn't play in the underworld for a lifetime. Yang Ming's ambition wasn't here, so he didn't want his family to be involved. What he wanted to do now was to gradually normalize Bao Sanli's marginalization. After all, the underworld wasn't a good thing. Although the protection fee and security fee were similar in essence, it sounded different. The protection fee was mandatory and it was related to the underworld. However, the security fee was much more formal. Now, many hotels and nightclubs hired security guards. Although Songjiang City now had several security companies, it was believed that with Bao Sanli's name, the business of the Mingyang Security Company would definitely flourish. What Yang Ming wanted to do was to eliminate the existence of unstable forces in Songjiang that were not under his control. "I understand what you mean. However, Yang Ming, do you know? Sometimes when doing business you have to deal with people from the underworld. Otherwise it may be difficult to move forward." Yang Dashan sighed. "Take my previous business as an example. If there was no Brother Bao, I would have been bullied by the people next to me. Since those guys knew that Brother Bao was behind me, who dared to be rash. Uncle, I've been in the underworld before, so of course I understand what you're saying. All right, except for business matters, it's best if you don't get involved." Yang Ming also knew that his uncle was telling the truth, so he nodded helplessly. I know what I'm doing." Yang Dashan said, "Yang Ming, you have a good relationship with Brother Bao. Can you help me say something?" "Oh? What is it?" Yang Ming asked, baffled. "Your relationship with Bao Sanli is also good. That, we are just in a cooperative relationship." Yang Dashan was a little embarrassed. "What's the matter?" Yang Ming frowned. "Brother Bao wants to find someone to open an entertainment city, but there are a few people like me who have a cooperative relationship with Brother Bao. Their strength is stronger than me, so if I want to get this business, it will be a little difficult." Yang Dashan said, "Uncle, you have just set up a real estate company and you want to do an entertainment city. You are fighting on both sides. Your business is so big. It's not that I want to criticize you, but don't fail when the time comes." Yang Ming felt that his uncle wasn't such an impatient person. Why did he suddenly have such a bold idea? Yang Ming, uncle is already more than 40 years old. There aren't many opportunities in life. This is an opportunity. Your uncle's struggles in the past few years have made my assets stagnate. This time, if I seize this opportunity, uncle's assets can go up to a new level." Yang Dashan said, "So, I want to take a gamble." Yang Ming nodded. "Uncle, you may not be willing to listen, but I still have to advise you first. Listen to me and don't fight for that entertainment city. Do your real estate company well. Otherwise it will be too late to regret it. Yang Ming said, I have already said so much. If you still insist on doing it, then I can help you say hello. Yang Dashan hesitated again and again. He gritted his teeth and said, I still want to do an entertainment city. Yang Ming, help me say something. Okay, but when you really lose money, don't regret it. Yang Ming nodded and said, why do you have the same tone as your father in the past? Yang Dashan suddenly smiled and looked at Yang Ming. Yang Ming also smiled and didn't say anything. My father's prediction may be wrong, but what I said to my uncle is the truth. Yang Ming also knew that since his uncle had made this decision, then no matter how he persuaded him, it was useless. There was no other reason. As his uncle said, he was already in his 40s this year. There were not many opportunities in his life. He wanted to fight for it. Yang Ming had done his best, so he didn't say much. Yang Ming was different from his father. He wouldn't be angry with others because of other people's matters. Out of the coffee shop, Yang Ming called Ho Junhan and asked about the entertainment city. Sure enough, there was such a thing, and as Yang Dashan said, Ho Junhan hadn't confirmed the final partner. If my uncle's qualifications are similar, give the management rights to him. Yang Ming instructed. Brother Yang, your uncle's qualifications are the worst among these people. I am afraid that he can't manage it well and will lose money. Ho Junhan said with concern. Are you sure there is no possibility of profit? Yang Ming asked. There is a 90% chance of losing money. Yang Dashan has not engaged in a similar industry, and he has just set up a real estate company. If he is distracted, both sides can't be dealt with. Ho Junhan analyzed. Forget it. If he loses money, then he loses money. Yang Ming said faintly, he will do it. Although Ho Junhan knew that Yang Ming and Yang Dashan were relatives, now he wasn't taking care of his own relatives, but losing his own money. Since Yang Ming was the boss, Ho Junhan had already counted the assets of the Ming Yang company to Yang Ming. So he was very confused. Isn't this the practice of eating the inside out? However, since Yang Ming had instructed, Ho Junhan had to carry it out. Moreover, Yang Ming had already said that if he lost money, then he wouldn't take any responsibility. Hanging up the phone, Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. This uncle is still too stubborn. His heart wavered again and again. Yang Ming had to comfort himself. Just consider it as fulfilling one of my father's wishes. If Yang Dashan lost money, it would really fulfill my father's words in the past. However, if there was such a day, would my father really be happy? At present, I can only take one step at a time. Yang Ming took a taxi and returned home. Zhang Weihan successfully became Lu Weishan's disciple through Yang Ming's recommendation. For this he was very grateful. He called several times to ask Yang Ming to come out for dinner, but Yang Ming refused. It wasn't that Yang Ming didn't give him face, but Yang Ming was really too busy. He had been busy for a while. It was finally New Year's Day, but he couldn't have a good rest. He wanted to have a good rest today, but unfortunately, things came to Yang Ming again. Just after taking a shower and planning to rest early, Yang Ming suddenly saw that there were more than 20 missed calls on his mobile phone. Yang Ming was stunned. It was only 10 minutes. Who made so many calls? On average, one call every 30 seconds. I have to keep calling. Yang Ming picked up the phone and pressed the check button. They were all calls from his uncle Yang Dashan. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Is there a need to be so anxious? Just as he was about to call him, his uncle's call came in again. Hello, uncle, I asked about your matter. Yang Ming picked up the phone, but before he could finish, he was interrupted by his uncle in a hurry. Yang Ming, where are you? Something happened to Yang Li. Yang Dashan said in a hurry. Chapter 430. Something happened to Yang Li? Yang Ming held the phone inexplicably. Uncle, what happened to my elder sister? Your elder sister was kidnapped, said Yang Dashan. What? Kidnapped? Yang Ming was speechless when he heard it. Why is your family so willing to be kidnapped? Last time it was you. This time it was Yang Li. He couldn't help but be dumbfounded. Uncle, my elder sister was kidnapped. You should call the police. Why are you looking for me? But the other party asked you to go, so your elder sister will be fine. Otherwise, Yang Dashan didn't continue, but it obviously wasn't a good thing. Looking for me? Yang Ming was even more puzzled. Why are they looking for me? It was reasonable to say that if Yang Li was kidnapped, It was nothing more than extorting some money from Yang Dashan. There couldn't be any other purpose. The other party actually used kidnapping Yang Li to threaten me to meet them. This person isn't unfamiliar with me, but his brain is broken. Can Yang Li threaten me? It's a joke. Yang Ming's prejudice against her was much more than his uncle's. However, this was exactly what Yang Ming was most confused about. If it was someone who had a grudge against me, they could kidnap my parents to threaten me. Or Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiun, Xiaoqing or Zhaoing, they could achieve the purpose of threatening me. Or kidnapping Zhang Bin or Tian Donghua. Even if it was Zhou Jiejia, Yang Ming would also save her. Because Yang Ming's impression of Zhou Jiejia was much better than Yang Li. Now the other party kidnapped Yang Li and asked Yang Ming to go over. Wasn't this a bit too illogical? I don't know, but the other party said that they want you to contact them. Yang Dashan said helplessly, Yang Ming, you won't ignore your elder sister, right? Your relationship with Brother Bao is good. You can ask him to help. Yang Ming didn't answer his uncle's question directly. But the other party said that I can only tell you and not tell others. I don't dare to take this risk. After all, Yang Li is my daughter. Yang Dashan said, I don't want anything to happen to her. Yang Ming, you don't really want to ignore her, right? To be honest, I really don't want to care. Yang Ming said faintly. But, Yang Ming, Yang Li is your elder sister. Yang Dashan said. Uncle, are you threatening me? How do you know you can help him? Aren't you afraid of putting me in trouble again? Yang Ming asked. Yang Dashan was suddenly speechless. But the kidnapper asked you to go. I have no other way, then you want me to take the risk? Yang Ming said sarcastically. I forget it. I know that this request is too much. Yang Dashan said sadly, I will go to the police. Yang Ming, you rest. As Yang Dashan said this, he wanted to hang up the phone. When Yang Ming heard Yang Dashan's sad tone, he couldn't help but be moved. He sighed and said, Wait, how do I contact the kidnapper? Yang Dashan said, Yang Ming, you agreed? Let's see the situation first. If the kidnapper asked me to commit suicide, then I can't do anything. Yang Ming said calmly. Well, if they really have such an excessive request, then you don't have to care about Yang Li. Yang Dashan clenched his teeth. With your words it's fine. You still have some compassion. Yang Ming smiled faintly. Give me the contact information of the kidnapper. Yang Dashan said after listening, they asked you to call him. The number is 136x times x times 5438. It's easy to remember. The ending number is 138D. Puff. Yang Ming almost laughed and threw the phone away. What time is it now? Uncle actually still has the leisure to study this. He held back his laughter and said, I got it. Okay, I will call you again if there is news. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming dialed the phone number. All the 136 segment cards in Songjiang City were Shenzhou travel cards. It was the kind of anonymous card, so it was impossible to find the owner's information. Yang Ming also dispelled the idea of calling Qin Fei to inquire. Oh. The other party answered the phone, just a faint hello. I'm Yang Ming. Why are you looking for me? Yang Ming asked directly. You are Yang Ming? How can you prove it? The other party asked. Because I know that you are looking for Yang Ming. Yang Ming said patiently. I am looking for Yang Ming, but what if you are a police officer? You have to have something for us to believe, right? The other party asked carefully. Motherfucker, are you okay? Yang Ming was angry. Why are you so hesitant? If you are okay, I will hang up the phone. Aren't you afraid that we will do something to Yang Li? Your tone is not good. The other party was also a little angry. Whatever. Yang Ming hung up the phone. Threatening me? Are you crazy? Yang Ming thought in a bad mood. The other party was confused by Yang Ming's actions. What's going on? Why doesn't the other party care about Yang Li's life? Wang Long, why did this kid hang up the phone? Li Mingri asked, baffled. How would I know? Wang Long rolled his eyes. You said that you couldn't take it and wanted to do something. Now you are in a dilemma. I also blame myself. I drank too much just now, so I cooperated with Li Mingri to kidnap Yang Li. Now that I was sober, I didn't have the courage. To be honest, they really couldn't afford to offend the person behind Yang Li. Yang Dashan, that was Bao Sonli's friend. Wang Long and Li Mingri didn't have the strength to challenge him. So they thought of this way to find Yang Ming, who humiliated them that night, and teach him a lesson. Then they let Yang Li go. But now Yang Ming didn't seem to care about him at all and hung up the phone directly. They really didn't dare to do anything to Yang Li. They could only sulk here. Well, at least we know that he isn't the police. The police can't talk like this. Li Mingri comforted. Now, call him back and ask him to come over. Wang Long nodded and ordered his little follower to make the call. Hello, is this Yang Ming? Yang Ming smiled when he saw the caller ID. It seems that you can't wait. This also indirectly shows that the other party didn't intend to do anything to Yang Li, but they came for him. I am. Aren't you afraid that I'm the police? Yang Ming sneered. Hee, Mr. Yang, we have already determined your identity. The other party said mysteriously, now you can go out, take a taxi to Xiangshan Park and then call us at this number. Remember, don't call the police or you will have to bear the consequences. Don't talk nonsense. If I wanted to call the police, I would have already done so. Okay, I will hang up. I will call you later. Yang Ming said impatiently and hung up the phone directly. Damn, so arrogant. Looking at the phone that was cut off, Li Mingri, Wang Long, and the three men couldn't help but look at each other. President Wang, President Li, I remember that Yang Ming didn't even talk to Yang Li yesterday. Could it be that their relationship isn't very good? The underling suddenly reminded. It really makes sense. Li Mingri also suddenly thought of this. It seems that Yang Ming really doesn't like Yang Li very much. Damn, what should we do? What if Yang Ming doesn't come? Wang Long asked with some concern. It shouldn't be, right? After all, they are siblings. Li Mingri comforted himself. Let's see how the situation goes. Wang Long now wanted to let Yang Li go. It seems that drinking is really harmful. Yang Ming recalled who he had a grudge with recently, and he put on his clothes and prepared to go out. The person who knows Yang Li and has a grudge with me doesn't seem to be anyone, right? The Yun Guangdo who pursued Sun Jie? He seems to know Yang Li. No, he shouldn't know her. Then it would be Gu Jianchao, but even if Gu Jianchao had the courage, he wouldn't dare to provoke Yang Ming. Yang Ming was confused and went out of his room. Dad, Mom, Uncle is looking for me. I have to go out. Your uncle is looking for you? Yang Dahai was stunned. Then go. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. I believe that even if my parents called Yang Dashan, he would say the same thing. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.